Oak Ridge High School baseball coming up in about 10 minutes. Oak Ridge High School baseball coming up in about 10 minutes. Hello again, everybody. David Clary along with TJ Hibben, live here at Gibbs High School in North Knox County, or I guess it might even be Union County, getting set for our first Oak Ridge High School baseball game of the 2024 season. The Wildcats taking on the Gibbs High Eagles. The Wildcats were scheduled to open up their season yesterday, but the field conditions at Clinton didn't allow the game to be played, so the first game is on the road here at Gibbs High School. While I have an opportunity, let me run down the starting lineups. First off, for the visiting Wildcats, leading things off and playing center field will be Warren East. Batting second, the shortstop, Caden Black. Batting third will be the third baseman, Mikey Teasley. Pitching today will be the sophomore, Cameron Welch. He'll be hitting in the number 4 position. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Cy Stevens. Batting sixth will be the right fielder, Richie Ferreira. Batting seventh will be the catcher, Parker Free. Batting eighth will be the first baseman, Peyton Witter, and batting ninth will be the designated hitter, Kai Welch. He'll be hitting for the second baseman, Noah Wood. And now for the home team, the Gibbs High Eagles. Batting first will be the catcher, Mason Melton. Batting second will be the shortstop, Hayden Mills. Talon Owens will be at bat third. He'll play third. The pitcher in the ball game and hitting fourth will be Will Sharp. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Zayden Ivey. Batting sixth will be the first baseman, Will Price. Batting seventh will be the center fielder, Kaysen Beach. Batting eighth will be the right fielder, Jason Rutherford. And batting ninth will be the catcher, Luke Fields. The umpires are down at home plate. The fans are filing in. TJ, the best part about this, we decided that we were going to move outside because anytime you broadcast, especially high school ball games, you don't really have a great line of sight. They offered us just a fabulous press box here at Gibbs High School, but our view was not that great, so we elected to sit in the bleachers.
Yeah, we got a good spot now, but from up there, all you saw was wooden poles.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there'll be times today where you'll see the pole come into play, and obviously we have to film through a screen right here in front of us as well. Wildcats are going to be on the first base side dugout. They're wearing their all gray jerseys with cardinal numerals. The Gibbs High Eagles wearing their traditional baseball white pants with their light blue jerseys with gold numerals. Travis Free, the head coach of the Wildcats, is wandering out to the home plate area. He's joined by the head coach of the Gibbs High Eagles. Gibbs state champions in baseball in 2020 and 2021. So they have a great tradition up here. Some of the more famous people, TJ, I know, have come from this Gibbs community, and a lot of them have played baseball. Two of them are really big-time country singers right now.
Yeah, Morgan Wallen and Kenny Chesney. And Kenny Chesney actually built the stadium we're sitting in right now.
We're just moments away from the start here. The fans are filing in. It's always great to have baseball season. It's not particularly warm. The sun is not out, obviously. It's overcast. We were worried all day about potential, rainstorms. And I was asking the head coach when TJ and I were deciding whether we wanted to stay inside or go outside. We asked him. He said, nope, we're not going to get rain until about 11 o'clock or midnight. And that was the best thing I had heard all day. It's Oak Ridge and the Gibbs High Eagles. We are on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Tell your friends and family we are live right now, our first game of the year. Moments away from the first pitch. We're going to go silent here. We don't want the music being played here to take us off our stream. And we'll be back with the first pitch of this ball game, Oak Ridge and Gibbs, in a moment. Getting closer and closer to Oak Ridge High School baseball here live from Gibbs High School. The lineup cards have been exchanged with the umpires. Beautiful setting here. It's not a beautiful day, TJ, but as long as it doesn't rain, we can deal with it.
Yeah, it feels good right now. I'm just praying it don't rain.
Have you ever been to the Gibbs community before? It's kind of a haul up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere, to be honest. I'm not surprised Morgan Wallen and Kenny Chesney came out of here.
That's what he told me beforehand. Hopefully we don't have any Gibbs people who are offended right now by what you said, but I don't think so. As we're about to have probably the national anthem here live from Gibbs. We're under a little bit of a covering here in case it were to rain, but hopefully that won't be the case. I went through the lineups once again. Wildcats are about to bat first here. Obviously, I'll go through them once again if you're just tuning us in. And we've got about 30 people already tuned into our first ball game here today. Warren East is going to lead things off, followed by Caden Black, Mikey Teasley, Cam Welch, Cy Stevens, Richie Ferreira, Parker Free, along with Peyton Witter, along with Kai Welch and Noah Wood. As I look at this lineup here, Caden Black, Mikey Teasley, Cameron Welch, Richie Ferreira, along with Kai Welch, all played really major roles last year for the Wildcats. But we do have some newcomers to the lineup. Obviously, the leadoff man, a freshman, Warren East. He's a new guy. We got a chance to meet him on Wednesday night on our Covering the Bases show. Also, Parker Free is a freshman. He's a catcher. He's going to see action. The head coach, son of the head coach, Travis Free. Also, Peyton Witter. He was from Kingston last couple of years. And, of course, Noah Wood, he's another freshman guy. So we got a lot of newcomers, and hopefully we'll have one of those games where we get a lot more players in the contest tonight, and we'll get a chance to kind of introduce ourselves to some of the other players that might be getting a chance to play. We are live here at Gibbs High School. They were doing the play-by-play public announcing of the starting lineups. We'll take a break. We'll have the national anthem in a moment. We'll be back to Gibbs in a moment. The Gibbs High Eagles being introduced individually as they take their positions out in the outfield here at Gibbs High School. Just a moment ago, went by and saw their brand new football field. They had some trouble constructing this new football field just a few years ago. It is a beautiful facility. I know, TJ, I know you were impressed as you saw their football.
I'd love to play here. I wish they were still in our district.
About to have our national anthem. Here it is. It's our national anthem here from Gibbs High School. Moments away from the first pitch of this ball game, the Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Gibbs Eagles. The two teams have scrimmaged already twice here in the preseason. The Wildcats winning both of those, including the Saturday tilt at Bobby Hopkins Field just this last Saturday. And it's all for real in this one. Scrimmages are fun and everything. You get a chance to look at various players, but you know, what matters is this opening game, and Wildcats can't take them lightly by the fact, you know, they've already beaten them twice in scrimmage.
Yeah, these scrimmages are what leads up to this moment right here in the first game of the season. It's going to be a show of Oak Ridge and see how they're going to play this year.
Pitcher warming up for the Gibbs High Eagles. I mentioned he'll be hitting in the number 4 spot. That is Will Sharp. He's a right-handed throwing pitcher. Throwing his little fastball right now, and he looks pretty good. The Wildcats getting set to start their season here. Wildcats, after today, will be heading down to Gulf Shores in Alabama. They're going to the beach for the next about 5 days, I guess, during spring break. TJ, they didn't invite us.
Yeah, no, I wish I was invited. I'd love to go to Gulf Shores.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with that. We should have been the first two they asked, but oh well. As we're about to get set here, the Wildcats leading things off. It'll be Warren East. Warren is a freshman. He bats from the right side, I do believe. My first kind of look at these guys, I was introduced to them on Wednesday at the television show, honestly. I really enjoyed that. It was a fun experience getting a chance to meet all the guys except our James Bowles. But I know James, he's a senior, but he was not able to attend, and I kind of feel bad about that. He was the only guy that I didn't interview on Wednesday night, but obviously we'll get a chance to see James a little bit later on. Had a little bit of a back injury right now he's dealing with. He was on a recruiting visit. As Warren will step in, and we are about to get set here from Gibbs High School. Wildcats making some noise on the first base side in their dugout. And here is the first pitch of the season for the Wildcats. It's cut on and missed. Breaking pitch on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-1. Travis Free is the head coach of the Wildcats. Here's the 0-1 pitch, way outside. Evens the count at 1-1 strike. If you're watching our broadcast right now, kind of tell us what kind of a shot you like. We're trying to figure out the best way to configure. There's two poles in front of us that will be in the shots at times. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside again with a fastball, and the count is 2-1 strike. TJ, you told me baseball was one of your favorite sports growing up.
Yeah, I loved playing baseball when I was growing up. Once I hit about middle school, though, I stopped playing. Kind of wish I stuck with it, though.
2-1 pitch hit on the ground. That's a fair ball down the line. The freshman will round first, heading towards second, but the left fielder gets it in really quick. It's a leadoff single for the Wildcat freshman, and Oak Ridge has their leadoff man aboard. And a good start for the freshman in his first at bat as a Wildcat, and he picks up a base hit. Batting second in the Oak Ridge lineup will be the Oak Ridge shortstop, a 4-year starter at shortstop for the Wildcats, Caden Black. Bats from the left side, holds several school records, including stolen bases. It's a big lead at first by the freshman at first. Sharp working from the stretch. The pitch to Black is a called strike on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-1. Black steps back in. Sharp checks the runner at first and goes over that way, and easily back to the bag will go the freshman. Leadoff single. Good play by the left fielder. Got to the ball very quickly. Held East to a single. He does take a pretty good sized lead off the bag at first. If you know anything about Coach Free, he loves to run. I mean, it's not unusual for them to have 8 to 10 stolen bases a ball game. It seems like that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but anytime he gets an opportunity to run, he will. Our first look at East speed. He's not going. The pitch is a pickoff play on the little pitch out, and he threw it back to first. He was not going. Coach for Gibbs anticipated that on the pitch out, but he stood there. Black back in. Sharp checks the runner. A little shorter lead this time, and he draws another throw. Over to first and back safely they go. TJ, in the major leagues you can't throw over, but a couple times without being allowed to. Black steps back in. Pitch, low and inside, and the count is 2 balls, I believe, and 1 strike. Just underway, scoreless ball game. Oak Ridge and Gibbs, live here at Gibbs High School. Appreciate you watching our broadcast. We are live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Warren East takes his lead off of first. The 2-1 pitch. Nope, he's going to draw another throw, and easily back to the bag he goes.
Dry cleaners aren't going to like this right now.
Yeah, it's a little muddy out there. Coach was saying that he had to work really hard to get the field in any kind of playing condition. Yesterday, Clinton was basically underwater. They couldn't play the game yesterday. He's leaning, he's going to go. And no, he's not going to go. He fakes the fakes the break towards second and immediately came back to the bag. It was, well, on the scoreboard it says strike. Thought it was a ball, but scoreboard says it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sharp, right-hander, once again checks the lead at first. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. Nope, it's going to draw another throw. You're exactly right about the dry cleaners. His jersey is already incredibly muddy. We'll get a shot of that in a second. Black will stand back in. Like I said, Caden, 4-year starter for the Wildcats, senior finally. Breaking pitch, cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 1. TJ's getting a shot over there of Warren's jersey. All you mothers out there watching that can say that it's probably not the best thing, as we're going to have a visit from the coach, and he's going to kind of might have some mud caught in his cleats. We're live here at Gibbs High School. Now the umpire goes out to check why play was halted. I think probably just to get a little of that dirt and mud out of his cleats. It is muddy. You can look out towards third base and shortstop, and really on the back side of the dirt area, it looks still very wet. Batter now is Mikey Teasley. Warren East takes his lead off of first. He had a leadoff single. Mikey stands in. He takes a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Mikey's a sophomore. Started almost every ball game a year ago, not only as the third baseman for the Wildcats, but also pitched a lot for Oak Ridge, big game situations. He's not pitching, at least starting this game, as he hits the ball foul off the screen, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mikey will be followed by the pitcher in today's game. That would be Cameron Welch. Cam's a sophomore. Wildcats have a lot of youth. I mean, Mikey's a sophomore, got a freshman at first, a sophomore about to bat for the Wildcats. There's 9 seniors on the team, but not all of them get a chance to play a lot of baseball, at least as starters. They will see a lot of action at times. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. There's a nice breaking pitch in there for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. TJ, it just so happens the tallest guy in Gibbs just walked by the camera.
Oh, yeah, dude. He just took up the whole camera.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Throw over to first once again, and back to the bag will go Warren East. He led off the game with a single down the left field line, just inside the bag at third, and he's still at first. Sharp, the pitcher for the Gibbs Eagles. Runner going. Low pitch, bounces away, and he doesn't have to take a slide as the ball kind of bounced up. The catcher couldn't quite get to it, and we'll give Warren a stolen base. The ball bounced away, but I think he would have stolen it anyway. Count, according to the scoreboard, is 2 balls and 2 strikes. East takes his lead off of second for the Wildcats. Second baseman sneaking in behind. Teasley steps back in. Pitches, sweeps outside, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pretty decent contingent of Oak Ridge fans here. Kind of a haul up here. Anybody who's never been up here, you go up Tazewell Pike and you just keep on going till you get out here. That's one way to get here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mikey back in. Sharp bluffs back to second, and Warren hadn't taken much of a lead. The pattern of dirt on his uniform is funny looking.
I can't even read his jersey anymore. It's just straight stain now.
Mikey stands back in. 3-2 pitch. Outside, ball 4. So the Wildcats will have 2 on with 1 out. And the batter now will be the starting pitcher in the ball game. That'll be Cameron Welch. One thing that you might notice about Cam, if you follow the Wildcats last year, and he told me this in the preseason, he told me this on the show on Wednesday, is that the amount of weight that he has kind of dropped, he's turned it into muscle. And he looks like almost a totally different guy as he stands in for the Wildcats. He bats from the left side, hitting in the number 4 spot. Once again, Warren kind of bothers Sharp out at second. forces him to step off the rubber and take a throw back there, and Warren retreats back to the bag. He wasn't too far away. Teasley, the base runner, at first for the Wildcats. Warren East, the base runner, at second. No score. We're in the first inning. Time is called, I believe, by Cam. Steps out of the box. New play called by Coach Travis Free. He checks his armband. Steps back in. And the pitch is outside a ball. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. So I mentioned these two teams have scrimmaged twice really in the last 2 weeks. Once Saturday at Bobby Hopkins, and then I think over at Catholic, I guess was the other one. 1 ball, no strikes. Sharp, starting pitcher for Gibbs. Checks East at second. Shortstop came sneaking on over towards the bag, and once again forces Sharp to step off the rubber. He's being bothered big time by the base runners for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to get out of here.
1 ball, no strikes. Here's the throwback, and easily back to the bag goes Warren East. He had probably taken only a couple steps off the bag at second. TJ's implying that this inning is dragging right now. We've seen a lot of throws over to first and now throws over to second. And Cam, lefty, stands in. Number 4 hitter in the lineup. Sharp's pitch to him. Way outside again. 2 balls and no strikes. So, TJ, I think perhaps the base runners have bothered the pitcher, and his control has kind of lost him.
Oh, yeah, they're living it. They are in his head right now. I can tell. He's stepping off play after play after play after play.
2 balls, no strikes. Cam back in. Pitch to him. Outside corner for a called strike. Really painted the corner that time. As you can see, our vantage point is directly behind the plate, just a little bit off to the right, because we wanted to have the ability to get the bases in the picture. And if we had gone directly in the middle, we wouldn't have, as we noticed when we were trying to set up. Pitches outside and high. 3 balls and 1 strike the count. Cam will be followed in the Oak Ridge lineup by another newcomer, the left fielder, Cy Stevens. He's on deck to our right. The Wildcats are in the first base dugout. Gibbs in the third base dugout. Cam back in. 3-1 pitch. Nope. Once again, he fakes back to second, and Warren really was basically standing on the bag. Mikey's mom's going to be happy. His uniform is completely clean right now. But I can tell you, Warren's cleaners not. Here's the pitch. Hit ripped to deep to center field on a line and really hit hard. I mean, he barreled it up. Not too deep. It was right at the center fielder, but he hit it hard. And unfortunately, it's the second out of the inning. But the ball, TJ, was hit right on the button.
Yeah, it was a zip. It was straight out there.
Batter now will be Cy Stevens. Cy's one of those newcomers for the Wildcats. He'll wear 2 different numbers. He was telling me this today. One of his jerseys is missing. I think the Cardinal one, he'll be number 28, but for the most part, he'll be 22 this year. Cy is a junior, wearing some pretty bright, I guess those are pink shoes. We're in the top of the first inning. No score. Wildcats have 2 on, but there are 2 outs now. Overcast skies here, as we said, at Gibbs. Sun beginning to set. The lights have been on the entire time we've been here. Cy steps in. Infield, even with the bag at third. Here's a throwback, and once again, Warren is back to the bag safely. He is worried about the base runners. His pitch count's not super high, but his throwovers to first and second might even equal his pitch total here in the top of the first inning. Cy back in. On deck for the Wildcats is the right fielder, Richie Ferreira. The ball's hit foul up the third base side and out of play. And the count is 0-1. Warren East takes his lead off of second. Mikey Teasley off of first. Once again, the throw, and this one kind of tailed a little bit towards the right center field area. The shortstop, or the second baseman, actually made a nice play to keep it from going into the outfield. That might have scored a run if it eludes him. Still have one strike on the batter, Cy Stevens. Here's the pitch to him. Outside, bounces away, and he's going to try to take the bag, and he's going to be gunned out. Ball didn't bounce away from the catcher too far. It stayed in the dirt area, and the Wildcats are out with here in the first inning. Wildcats do pick up a base hit and a walk, and they leave one as the bottom half of the first is coming up. We're on YouTube on our Prep Radio channel. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. The reason we go silent, I usually have to explain this in baseball games especially, the reason we go silent between innings is because the music on YouTube sometimes YouTube will decide that we're playing music that is copyrighted and they will throw us off our stream. So that's why I tend to turn it off during between innings and half innings. As the Wildcats take the field, the leadoff man for them is Mason Melton. He is the catcher. He just had a nice play to throw out the attempted base runner at third. And he steps in, right-handed hitter, facing the left-handed throwing Cameron Welch. I'll set the defense for you here in a second. Here's the first pitch. It's on the outside corner for a called strike. Peyton Witter, is the first baseman. Noah Wood is the second baseman. Caden Black is the shortstop. The third baseman is Mikey Teasley. Here's the one-strike pitch, hit into left field. And let's see, it is going to drop in for a base hit. So good start for the Gibbs High Eagles as they pick up their leadoff man. And he gets on with a solid single to left field. Let me continue on with the outfield. The left fielder is Cy Stevens. The center fielder for the Wildcats is Warren East. The right fielder, Richie Ferreira. And as I mentioned, pitcher is Cameron Welch, and Kyron Welch is the catcher, or actually the designated hitter, and Parker Free is the catcher in this one. Leadoff single for Melton. And the batter now will be the shortstop, Hayden Mills. Right-handed hitter facing the left-handed throwing Welch. He throws over to first, and easily back to the bag will go the leadoff man for the Gibbs Eagles. As I said, it is cloudy here. Hopefully no rain. First game of the year on our Prep Radio YouTube channel. Squares the bunt. Here's a quick throw, and it bounces away from the first baseman, but not far enough for the base runner to advance. Count is 1-0. Mills will be followed by Owens in the Gibbs lineup. Gibbs wears their light blue jerseys with gold numerals. They have the white baseball pants. Lead it first. Here's the pitch to the plate. It's high. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Good turnout of fans. 2-0 pitch. He's kind of offered at it to bunt, but not enough to be considered a swing, and the count is 3 balls and no strikes. Gibbs threatening to get their first 2 base runners aboard. Leadoff single for Melton. Mills stands in. Cam checks the runner. He does square to bunt, but that's ball 4. So they've got runners at first and second with nobody out. And the batter now will be the third baseman for them. That'll be Talon Owens, right-handed hitter. Cam Welch, the pitcher. He's a sophomore. Got some really good fastball, good breaking pitch, really good curveball. Got a lot of movement on it. Another right-handed hitter. Cameron checks the runners. A square to bunt and take another pitch high. First baseman Peyton came charging in at full tilt. Peyton Witter did. And lucky he didn't swing away and take his teeth out.
I'd be terrified. I'd be running with my face over my glove.
1 ball, no strikes. Cam trying to find the strike zone here. Once again, he squares to bunt. Here comes Peyton all the way in. Here's the bunt. It's a good one. Up to the pitcher. Cam's going to throw on the first. Good sacrifice play. Good bunt. It just kind of died. Really nice play by Cameron Welch. He fielded it and threw a missile over the first for the first out. But now they've got 2 runners in scoring position, and the batter will be the cleanup man for them, the pitcher, Will Sharp. Really, really nice bunt right up the third base line. A little bit in between third base and the pitcher, but Cam made a nice throw. Got over there quick. Runners at second and third, 1 out. Scoreless ball game, bottom of the first. Parker Free with the sign. He's the freshman catcher for the Wildcats. And the pitch. Breaking pitch outside, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Sharp will be followed by Zayden Ivey. He's the left fielder for the Gibbs High Eagles. Teasley just a little bit in on the, not quite to the grass. He's not even with the bag. He's closer to the grass than the bag. 1-0 pitch. Hit foul. Off the screen, off to the right side. And assistant coach Will Maddox catches it on the carom, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So I mentioned the Wildcats' next ball games will be down at Gulf Shores. TJ and I are trying to figure out a way to get down there for a beach trip. We weren't invited, as we mentioned. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch. Hit foul. This time up the third base line. And Cam's ahead in the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. First game of the year for the Wildcats. I don't know if Gibbs has played any other ball games this week. Other teams kind of started on Monday. Wildcats were scheduled to play at Clinton yesterday. Field conditions didn't allow that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Left side. Long run and drops just out of play. They've got a lot of foul territory down the line on that side for sure. Went over towards the tarp, but it was just a incredibly long run for both the left fielder and Mikey at third. The ball drops harmlessly to the ground, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Scoreless ball game here from Gibbs. Infield now in on the grass. Cam has the sign from Free, the 1-2 pitch. Hit foul. Off to the screen once again. Was behind it, and the count remains at 1-2. People who are watching our live feed probably won't remember this from last year, but last year we couldn't figure out how to take off where it said period. So instead of 8 innings or 7 innings, we had 8 periods, as that pitch is up high, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our illustrious IT guy, as he likes to be called, Mark Haste, was able to get rid of the period, and we actually now have innings, which is more appropriate to baseball, of course. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch, hit foul again. And the count remains at 2-2. They've got a runner at second. They've got a runner at third. A leadoff single for them, and then a walk. Beautiful sacrifice. There's one out here. Gibbs trying to break on top early. We're in the bottom of the first. Two-two pitch. Hit on the ground to the shortstop. He's going to come home with it, and they've got him. That's going to be the second out of the inning. He kind of got caught in the grass area, and the dirt went rolling towards the bag. Caden Black came in, made a nice play, knew exactly what he wanted to do. He brought it right home and an easy tag for Parker Free, and they've got a runner at third and first, but now there are 2 outs. Really nice play there by Caden. He didn't hesitate one bit. He knew he was coming home.
Yeah, he knew exactly the right play to make.
First and third here. Fielder's choice for Sharp while Melton is out at the plate. 6-2 for the second out. And the batter now will be the left fielder. That'll be Zayden Ivey. Runners on the corners. 2 outs now. Squares the bunt and takes a ball low on the inside half of the plate. Our vantage point, it looked pretty good, but he's got a better look at it than I do. I'm looking through a net. 1 ball, no strikes. Cameron Welch checks the runner at first. He's got a runner at third as well. The pitch, breaking pitch. Oh, actually a fastball called a swinging strike there, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. TJ Hibben is doing our scoreboard and camera. He's getting used to doing baseball. Let's see. He's got his hand on the trigger, ready to move it as the pitch is hit right back to Cam. He fields it. He's going to run a couple steps, overhand it to Witter, and that is out number 3. Both teams pick up 2 base runners in the first. Both teams leave them stranded. We go to the top half of the second inning live from Gibbs High School on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David Clary along with TJ Hibben. We'll be back with the second inning in a moment. David Clary back here along with TJ Hibben. We are live. Will step in with Cy Stevens, the left fielder. He'll lead things off. He was at bat in the first inning when Worm was thrown out at third for the third out of the inning. We go to the second inning. Both teams had base runners in scoring position. Neither were able to score in the first. Hit hard but foul, and a nice play by Coach Free. Fields it on 2 hops and slings it back in to the pitcher. And the count is 1-1 to Cy. Richie Ferreira will follow him. Parker Free. Ball's hit to center field. Shallow. Center fielder comes in and makes the catch for out number 1. When it left the bat, I thought probably was hit a little bit farther, and I think actually so did the center fielder. He did catch up with it and makes a nice play for the first out here in the second inning. Batter now will be Richie Ferreira. Richie was a mainstay in the lineup a year ago. Played a lot of center field last year for the Wildcats. 1 out here in the second. And the first pitch is low and inside. Almost hit him, actually. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Good crowd on hand here and a beautiful facility here. In a minute, we'll kind of sweep and show you what it looks like in the stands. They have a beautiful press box. We just elected to stay outside. That ball's ripped to right field and deep. It's going to go over the right fielder's head. Richie Ferreira is heading towards second. He is going to go in with a stand-up double. That ball was smacked right on the button by Richie, and the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position.
That was a great hit by Richie all the way out to right field, right past the fielder.
So the Wildcats once again have a base runner in scoring position. Richie had a double on Saturday against Gibbs in the scrimmage, and he'll be the base runner here in the second inning. Batter now will be the catcher, Parker Free. Parker is the son, obviously, of Coach Travis Free. Really good catcher for his dad. He'll play a little infield as well. See if he can get this run in. The first pitch to him looked high, but it's called a strike. No balls and 1 strike, the count. Parker will be followed by Peyton Witter, the first baseman in the lineup. Right-handed hitter. Richie Ferreira takes his lead off of second. The pitch. Breaking pitch. Had to think about it a bit, but it was a sweeping strike on the curveball, and the count is 0-2. We're in the second inning. Wildcats have a couple of hits. 1 hit for the Eagles. Richie takes his lead. The pitch, cut on a miss. Pitch was way out of the strike zone, and that is a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 2 here in the second inning. And the batter now will be the junior, Peyton Witter. Peyton is a transfer from Kingston. I believe that's where he played last. Good-looking hitter, hitting in the number 8 position in Coach Free's lineup. Big, tall, rangy fellow. Sharp once again. He hasn't done it much here in the second inning. In the first inning, when Warren East was especially out at second, he threw over to first quite a bit. Then when he got to second, he went back that way as well. Hasn't done much with Richie. 2 outs here in the second. Witter stands in, and they're going to throw, and he's out. Richie just didn't get back to the bag quick enough. I think he didn't think he would throw it over that way, and the Wildcats have had a couple base runners picked off the bags here in this ballgame. So we go to the bottom half of the second inning here at Gibbs High School. The Wildcats have a couple hits, no runs. The Gibbs Eagles, 1 hit, a walk, no runs. We'll see what they can do in the second. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Gibbs High School. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. We have a scoreless game. Welch's first pitch is fastball in there for a called strike. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Gibbs lineup. This is Will Price, the first baseman. He takes one up high, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Cut on and missed, and the count is 1-2. We're in the second inning, scoreless game. Oak Ridge opening up their season on the road here. They were supposed to open up yesterday against Clinton, but the rain in Dragonville kind of messed up. There's a swinging foul tip strikeout and a good start for Cam Welch here in the second. The water was just all over the fairgrounds out there at Clinton. They weren't able to play. That game has been rescheduled to March the 23rd at Clinton. One out here, and the batter now will be Kason Beach. He plays center field for the Gibbs Eagles. Pitch cut on and foul tip once again, and the count is 0-1. Welch gave up a leadoff single and then a walk in the first inning. Got some nice defensive work by his shortstop and himself to retire the Eagles without scoring in the first. He's got a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Nobody on, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Broadcasting from the bleachers up here. Gibbs. Pitch is high and inside. TJ, in a minute, I want you to kind of swing over when we get maybe on the next out here. Swing over and show the fans watching, wherever they might be watching, what it looks like up here. It's a nice facility. We'll do that for you here in a second. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cut on and miss. Good fastball. TJ's going to swing it around and show you what it looks like up here. The stands, for the most part, are above the field, so you got a good vantage point down on, just like Oak Ridge, down on the brick area, around the netting area. There's people with lawn chairs watching as well. There's a nice concession stand directly below us. Just a beautiful facility here. 1-2 pitch. Call strike 3. That is out number 2, and that is back-to-back strikeouts for Cameron Welch, and that is strikeout number 3 for the big sophomore. And the batter now will be the right fielder, Jaden Rutherford. Rutherford stands in. 2 outs, nobody aboard here in the second inning. Scoreless ball game. Travis Free, Wildcats coming off of a district championship a year ago. Made it to the region tournament. Faced the 2 teams in the region who basically played for the state championship, Hardin Valley and Farragut. It's kind of tough to be in the same region with those guys. But Oak Ridge has made some great strides in baseball in the last several years. Let's see if they can get a little farther this year. That pitch is outside a ball. This count is now 2 balls and no strikes. You have to go all the way back to the early 70s, the last time Oak Ridge went to the state baseball tournament. Buddy Pope was the head coach back in those days, just recently passed. Great name in Oak Ridge sports. 2 balls and no strikes. Cam's pitch. There's a called strike, and the count is 2-1. Wildcats have been to a couple sub-states. Of course, back in the 90s, back when Todd Helton was playing for Central, Oak Ridge had some great teams. That pitch is cut on and missed, and he's climbed all the way back to make it even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Todd Helton will be going into Cooperstown in the summer, and he was a mainstay there at Central High School, and they had some great teams. We had some great teams. Unfortunately, they had 3 guys that played professional baseball on that team, and they maybe kept – there's called strike 3 on the inside corner. Wildcats might have gotten a break there. That looked a little inside, but if you're a Cardinal and Gray guy, you'll take it. We go to the top of the third inning here at Gibbs High School. Wildcats and Gibbs Eagles are scoreless, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. We go to the top of the third inning, and for the second consecutive inning, the guy that was at bat at the end of the previous two innings will step back in. The Wildcats' third out in both the first and the second were as a result of base running mistakes or nice plays. You can look at it either way by the Gibbs High Eagles. So Peyton Witter leads things off, and he takes the ball, 1 ball, and no strikes the count. It's kind of like half empty, half full, however you want to look at it. Coach Free will say it's base running mistakes. The Gibbs High coach will say it's good defense on their part. That's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Witter. I mentioned he is a transfer from Kingston. Sorry, I don't know why I said Kingsport. Dobbins Bennett on my mind. 2-0 pitch, hit on the ground, third base side. Fielded cleanly, throws high, but in time for out number 1. That is the first out of the third inning. And the batter now will be the designated hitter for the Wildcats. That'll be Kyron Welch. He's hitting for the second baseman, Noah Wood. I was talking to Jeff Ulrich just a moment ago. He's been kind of monitoring Camden's pitching velocity. He's been in the low 80s. That pitch is up high. That pitch was 78 miles an hour. I heard that one. Sharp on the hill for the Gibbs High Eagles. Camden was, as that pitch is high and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. He's kind of been in the lower 80s. I was told his hit that was an out to center field, the exit velocity was 93 miles an hour. That pitch is a called strike. Nice one there, and the count is 0-1. Wildcats have had base runners in the first 2 innings, and nobody's been able to score. They were shut down 1-2-3. That pitch is cut on a miss, and the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the order, and Warren East on deck for the Wildcats. Warren had a base hit to start the ball game. 2-2 pitch to Kyron. Outside the ball, full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody aboard, 1 out, top of the third. Opening game of the year for the Wildcats. Let's see if we can get TJ to follow the ball here. Just picking on him a little bit. Pitch is outside, ball 4. So the Wildcats, for the third inning in a row, have had a base runner. Wildcats will go back to the top of the order to the freshman, the center fielder for the Wildcats, Warren East. Warren wears number 14. That number was worn by a former Oak Ridge baseball coach back in the late 70s, Rick Evans. There's a head coach in 77, 78, 79. He wore number 14. Runner at first, the pitch in there for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Warren is 1 for 1 in the ball game, singled in the first. Wildcats. Designated hitter Kyron Welch takes his lead off of first. The pitch inside corner with a breaking pitch, and he falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Caden Black's on deck for the Wildcats. Caden was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Kyron takes his lead off of first. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Outside, and the count is 1-2. TJ, I have to admit, it's a good turnout of fans here on the Gibbs side.
Oh, yeah, there's like 2 times the Gibbs fan as we got Oak Ridge, but we still got a good turnout for Oak Ridge.
Yeah, considering how far it is. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Short lead at first, the pitch, cut on a miss. And that is a strikeout, and that is out number 2. And for Sharp, that is strikeout number, 3, I believe, for them. And going to be up to Caden Black here. As I mentioned, he struck out back in the first inning. There's 2 outs, runner at first. Wildcats have had base runners in every inning in a scoreless ball game. Ball bounced to the plate. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. I think the umpire wants to take a look at that baseball. He wants to switch it out with the pitcher, kind of bounced in the dirt a little bit, scuffed up a little bit, and muddied up a little bit. Caden ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. We're live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll do as many baseball games as we possibly can. Not all of them. But we'll do as many as we can, home and away. We won't be going down to Alabama unless we get that late invitation. TJ?
I wish I was going.
Maybe Coach Free will hear that if he watches the replay and feel sorry for us. 1 ball, no strikes, the pitch. Outside a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. Black will be followed by Mikey Teasley in the lineup, but there are 2 outs. Pitch, outside corner at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes, or 2 balls and 1 strike, sorry. It's our first ball game, too. Bound to make some mistakes. TJ's first game filming. He says he's gonna try to follow the ball. Pitch is cut on a miss. Inside pitch, and the count is even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He was a strikeout victim in the first. Looks like Parker Free was a strikeout victim as well in the second. We've had 2 strikeouts here in the third. Caden trying to get on base here to extend this inning. The pitch to him. Down low ball, and down to second will go Kyron Welch. So for the third straight inning, the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position. A 3 ball, 2 strike count on the senior, the 4-year starter, Caden Black. Get well wishes out to my good friend Ron Black, his grandfather, hopefully watching our broadcast today. Feeling a little bit peaked, but always great to see him. Hopefully we'll see him at the ballpark soon. 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air, left side. Left fielder in, now out. Now has to come in and make the catch over, not quite to the line, for out number 3. The Wildcats pick up another base runner, and once again they leave 1 stranded. We go to the bottom of the third inning here at Gibbs High School. My name is David Clary along with TJ Hibben. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll be back to Gibbs following this timeout. Welcome back once again to Gibbs, the number 9 hitter to lead things off and back to the top of the order. This is the catcher, Luke Fields, stands in. Cam struck out the side in the second inning, and that first pitch is a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Camden Welch with, let's see, looks like he's got, I guess, just 3 strikeouts, unless I'm seeing this wrong, and I could be. That pitch is up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Camden is a sophomore pitcher. His brother is the designated hitter today, and I believe Kyron is a senior. As the pitch is up high on the fastball, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. If you look down in the lower left corner of our broadcast. Those are our basketball advertisers, kind of giving them a little bonus time. That pitch is cut on and foul tipped into the mid of Parker Free, the catcher, and the count is 2-2. Now let's keep those on there. We're bonusing them. I mean, those people, a lot of them have sponsored our football as well. And we stop by and tell them, we can't do our broadcast without our sponsors, especially in basketball. Baseball is kind of on me. There's a swinging strike, and that's 4 straight strikeouts for Camden Welch, and that is out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. And back to the top of the order we go to Mason Melton. He singled back in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 1 in the ballgame. Both leadoff guys reach base safely. Camden has found his groove. In the 1st inning, like I said, he gave up a hit, and then he was a little bit off with his control. He walked the 2nd hitter. They had runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody out, but he has found his groove, at least on the lower part of the order. Let's see what he can do with Melton. Lefty comes to the plate. That's high, and the count is 1 ball, no strikes. I see no changes in the infield. Peyton Witter is still at 1st. Noah Wood is the 2nd baseman. Caden Black is the shortstop. Mikey Teasley's at 3rd. Wildcats have, looks like Richie Ferreira out in right, as that pitch is a called strike at the belt, and the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Warren East is the center fielder, and looks like Cy Stevens is out in left field. The catcher is Parker Free, and Camden Welch is the pitcher. 1-1 pitch. Inside corner, called strike 2. Now, he's been consistent there. In fact, I have to say, this umpire has been right on top of it. He's been consistent on that inside pitch for both pitchers. That's all you can ask for as a batter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Camden comes to the plate, fouled. Just barely got a piece of it off the end of his bat. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was funny, TJ. Camden on the show on Wednesday, he said, I'm not doing it. He didn't want to be interviewed. He didn't want to go up there. And we did it in numerical order. And he jumped right back in the line right at the end of the show and finally did speak to me and was great, as he is. I mean, he's a very personal young man. That pitch is hit in the air on the infield very high. Camden is under it. Oh, he drops it. Hits his glove, and he can't hold on to it. And that'll be the first error of the ballgame. That ball was hit over the top of the lights, and it was called on. Usually the pitcher doesn't take that one. Usually the 3rd baseman comes in. He's got a kind of a different angle there, and they have their leadoff guy in their lineup on board, and that's an error on the pitcher. And there's a runner at 1st with 1 out, and the batter now will be, looks like, Hayden Mills. Mills walked back in the 1st inning, managed to get to 3rd, but was stranded there in the 1st inning. Scoreless game, bottom of the 3rd inning here at Gibbs. Camden goes over to 1st, and he is almost picked off. From my vantage point, he looked out. I don't know if you could see it on the screen, but he was leaning. He looked out, but I'm a long ways away. Coach Free thought he was out, and he continues to yell, and it fired up the Gibbs dugout and the Gibbs fans to our left. It's a bang-bang play. Got to be quicker on the trigger there, TJ, on big bang-bang plays like that. It's hard to do. He looked out, from here, but, who knows?
Yeah, I think it was out, too. I'm going to have to agree with Coach Free on this one.
There's a called strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. 1 out here, 1 on. Bottom of the 3rd inning at Gibbs High School. The Wildcats headed to Gulf Shores, Alabama, next week to play in the tournament down there. Here's the pitch. Outside bounces off the glove of Parker. Parker's still going to go ahead with the throw and didn't have a shot there. And they've got a runner in scoring position. And down to 2nd will go Mason Melton. 1 out here. On deck for them is Talon Owens, the 3rd baseman. He had a beautiful sacrifice bunt back in the 1st inning. He's on deck. Camden, Welch, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Scoreless ball game here from Gibbs. Wildcats, both teams have really had some opportunities, especially Wildcats, they've had runners in every inning. Gibbs had a golden opportunity in the first. The pitch, cut on a miss. A live pitch there, and I'm going to ask how fast that one was. 80 miles an hour. Thank you. TJ heard that better than I did. Of course, he's about 70 years younger than me. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Camden Welch checks the runner at second. The 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. That's a base hit inside the bag at third. Rounding third and coming in to score will go Melton. Wildcats kind of have a little trouble with it in the outfield. It's a RBI double for Hayden Mills, and the Gibbs High Eagles get on the scoreboard first. It's 1-0 Gibbs, and they've got another runner at second base. So really, if you go back to what we think should have been a pickoff play, should have never been able to score, but a very, very nice hit by the number 2 hitter in their lineup. It's an RBI double for him. And the batter now will be Talon Owens. Like I mentioned, he had a sacrifice bunt back in the first inning. 1-0 Gibbs. The pitch. Hit foul off to the right side and out of play. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Got a young man enjoying a baseball game here in front of us. Might have heard him. Always good to see the young ones enjoying themselves. One strike the count. Camden checks the runner and comes to the plate. Inside corner at the knees for a called strike. Like I said, he's been very consistent with that, with both pitchers. So you cannot be too upset about it. No balls and 2 strikes here. On deck for them will be Will Sharp, the pitcher. He reached on a fielder's choice, his first plate appearance. Cam comes to the plate. Runner's going to third, and Parker's going to throw it high and into third with a stolen base. Will go Mills, and they've got a runner there. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to obviously a good bunter in Talon Owens. I don't know if he'll try to put one down on a squeeze with a 1-2 count, but with that beautiful bunt he had before, wouldn't shock me. He's the number 3 hitter in their lineup. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, foul. Just outside the line. Just barely, TJ. I mean, that was just barely foul.
Yeah, I almost couldn't even tell from here, to be honest with you.
And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-0 Gibbs as they bat in the third inning. Right-handed hitter, Owen steps back in against the left-handed sophomore pitcher for the Wildcats. Parker Free, the catcher, gives the sign, the 1-2 pitch. Up high a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're live at Gibbs. Honestly, I'm trying to remember the next time we'll have a broadcast. Unless we get a late invitation to Alabama, it won't be next week. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Outside a ball. And the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. TJ's got shorts on. Are you getting cold?
No, not at all. Feels good out here.
Full count to the number 3 hitter. Sharp on deck for the Eagles. Infield in. The pitch. Hit in the air. Right side. Foul territory. Witter back on it. Can't make the play. Kind of got caught up in the lights. That's a couple. Of course, the leadoff man, or the number 2 guy, reached on an error. Came around to score. Ball was a pop fly in the infield that the Oak Ridge pitcher wasn't able to hold on to. And he does come around to score. Three balls, 2 strikes. Runner at third. 1 run in. Camden comes to the plate. Hit foul again. Off the screen. TJ's a baseball guy and a football player, but he actually ducked a little bit there.
I don't know what you're talking about, David.
It wasn't even close to us, though. He was off the screen, off to the right. There was no way in the world that was going to hit us.
I didn't flinch at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
All I know is you got to guard this camera if one comes directly back. 3-2 pitch, hit foul again. Off the right side and way out of play. Couple of pop-ups in the infield. One foul, one in fair territory. Probably should have been caught this inning. Wildcats weren't able to make the play, and unfortunately, one run is scored because of it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch hit in the air again, very high on the infield. Mikey Teasley this time calls for it. He's under it, staggers a bit, but does make the catch. Does the sophomore third baseman for the second out of the inning. Better now will be the pitcher, Will Sharp. He reached base safely on a fielder's choice. Gibbs has put a run on the board here in the third inning. Camden, if you talk to him, he'll tell you that if he makes that play, that run would never have scored. We would have been out of this inning. But that's baseball. Pitch, hit foul over towards the Oak Ridge dugout where assistant coach, actually head coach, I guess that's Travis Free, feels it. And he feels that it's worthy enough to go back into play, and he throws it in to the catcher. And the count is 1-0-1. A lot of Gibbs fans here to our left, some Oak Ridge fans up and down below. A pitch on the outside corner. He was outside. Parker tried to bring it back in, but it was too far off the plate, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Camden, he's kind of kept it around 81, 82 miles per hour most of the ball game. Cut on miss. That one was a good one. I didn't hear how much that one was, Cam or TJ. That was 81 miles an hour. Got a cool little device there, clocking the miles per hour. 1-2 pitch, hit in the air once again on the infield. This time it's Peyton Witter calling for it. Staggers this time, drops it. Third time this inning, the Wildcats have dropped a routine fly ball in the infield. Tried to catch it one-handed. It kind of drifted away, but I'll give them credit. These pop-ups have been high and above the lights when they've gone up. So another run scores, and the Wildcats now trail up by a score of 2-0. And that is, well, I could have credited an error on the foul ball, but that is the second error. Let's see what they've got up on the board. They've listed them as, how many errors they list as? 2, I believe. That pitch is on the inside corner. Probably the foul ball in the major leagues, they might have called that an error, but the official scorekeeper Gibbs says just 2 errors, and both of them this inning. And unfortunately, that's resulting in the 2 runs that they have scored. Throw to first and back to the bag once again. Will go Will Sharp. Batter now is Aiden Ivey. He kind of bounced out to Camden Welch back in the setting. Runners going, pitches strike. Here comes the throw, and he is out by a mile. Parker Free throws out the base runner for the third out of the inning. But the Gibbs High Eagles score 2 unearned runs to take a 2-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning. And we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. The Wildcats will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to lead things off against the Eagles. Sharp. Wildcats down 2-0. Pitch to Mikey is a called strike. Count is 0-1. Wildcats have been pretty solid here in the preseason with their defense. But the defense kind of let them down here in the bottom of the last inning. That pitch is another called strike. And Sharp is sharp as he gets ahead of Teasley now. No balls and 2 strikes. Nobody aboard, nobody out. Top of the 4th inning, 2-0 Gibbs. Pitch, down low a ball, and the count is 1-2. On deck for the Wildcats is Cam Welch, followed by Cy Stevens in the Wildcat lineup. 1-2 pitch. A little high. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hopefully something big will happen on the field, but hopefully not, because TJ is kind of wandered away from the camera. That breaking pitch is just a little bit high at the belt, and the count is now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So after getting a tying run coming to the plate in the person of Camden Welch, Camden lined out hard to center field, 93-mile-per-hour exit velocity on the line out. Mikey takes a big lead off of first, Sharp working from the stretch. We're in the 4th inning now as that pitch is down low a ball. Trying to get the 4th inning up. Coach Free once again barks out some instructions. Both the batter and the base runner checked their armband for the play call. Mikey Teasley takes a good lead and draws a throw. The Wildcats had a couple base runners thrown out on the base paths tonight. Wildcats mental errors there and some physical errors in the field in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Hurt the Wildcats. Mikey draws another throw. 1 ball, no strikes the count. TJ Hibben is doing our camera work and technical work. The scoreboard change. Thank you, TJ. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. He squares to bunt. That's ball. Here comes a throw, and he just barely got back. Good opportunity. The catcher caught Mikey way off the bag at first, and the throw was a little bit towards the dugout side, but really, really nice play by the catcher, and Mikey just barely got back to the bag. 2 balls and no strikes. 6 straight pitches out of the strike zone for Sharp. Wildcats trying to get back in the ball again. They trail it 2-0. Cut on a missed. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. I don't think so, TJ. TJ's trying to scare me that it's raining here. And you can look up at the lights. It just looks like just a little bit of a mist coming down. I wouldn't say rain. The ball bounces away from first, and they're going to get Teasley on a good throw, and he is out. Just wasn't enough. Ball didn't bounce away far enough, and the foul territory bounced right back to the first baseman, and that is the 3rd base runner that the Wildcats have had gunned down. And that is out number 1. The Wildcats. Camden Welch takes another ball. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. There is a light mist coming down here. TJ's been trying to tell me that the whole time. Pitch is hit on the ground. Second baseman, he fields it cleanly. Throws on the first in time for out number 2. Wildcats have been their own worst enemy in this one. A couple of fielding errors and some base running mistakes as the batter is Cy Stevens. He flew out to center field back in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Pitch. Inside, a ball. Wildcats have base runner in every single inning, but they have been shut out to this point as they bat here in the 4th inning. Pitch. Fastball cut on a missed. I think that was 78 miles per hour. I think I heard that correctly. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Wildcats. Cy Stevens, the batter. He's a junior, also a newcomer to the program. Takes one down low, and the count is 2-1. Luckily, we're kind of shielded by a little overhang here. It's not raining real hard, hardly at all, really. 2-1 pitch, cut on a miss, and that's another 78-mile-per-hour pitch, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Getting a little late here. We're in the 5th inning, or the 4th inning, I guess. That pitch is down low, a ball. And the count is full once again, I believe 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cy will be followed by Richie Ferreira. He had a long double to right field in his first plate appearance. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit foul. Back to the screen, and this time TJ didn't move, didn't budge, didn't flinch at all.
I never flinch, David.
Umbrellas are up here. It's not raining hard, really. It really isn't. You can just barely see it at the lights. 3-2 pitch again. Ball 4. So the Wildcats have yet another base runner. Gibbs was state champions in baseball in 20 and 21. 2020 and 21. Gibbs a fine program, great facilities. It's a great little, but they have since built a beautiful facility just to our left and down below a little bit. There's a soccer game going on as we speak. Wildcats, Richie Ferreira bats once again. As I mentioned, he's 1 for 1 in the ball game. He doubled to right field in the 2nd inning. Wildcats have had a couple walks here in this inning, but nothing to show for it. There's 2 outs. Cy will take his lead off of first. Righty versus lefty here. Short lead at first, the pitch. Hit in the air softly, left field. Third baseman thought it was going to go a little bit farther. I think the third baseman did too. He just barely caught it at the edge of the grass. I thought it might drop over his head, but didn't have as much on it. It was off the end of the bat, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So the Wildcats pick up a couple of base runners, and once again they have another base runner thrown out, this time at second base. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here at Gibbs High School. Wildcats trail 2-0. We'll be back in a moment. David Clary back here along with TJ Hibben here at Gibbs High School, where we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Wildcats trail in the game 2-0. Wildcats have 2 hits. Gibbs has 2 hits. The difference in the ball game, TJ, are the 2 errors by Oak Ridge, which have really hurt them in the field. In fact, both of those runs are unearned. The Wildcats' base running mistakes have been a problem as well.
Yeah, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot out here, Dave.
number 5 hitter leads things off. That'll be Ivy. Hits the ball foul off the pole here right in front of us. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Rain seems to have slacked up a little bit, but it really wasn't. It's just kind of a mist. It's not much. I wouldn't even call it rain, honestly. Just kind of misty, enough to make you a little damp. 1 strike pitch, hit foul over toward the on-deck area of the Gibbs High Eagles, and the count is 0-2. Ivy back in the first inning, grounded out to Camden Welch to close out the first inning. Cam ahead in the count 0-2. Parker Free with the sign. And the big lefty comes to the plate. That's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One of the things that I noticed about this field, I've been here before, TJ, is, and your car is safe from unless you've got like, I don't know, who's the farthest, like some big powered Judge. There's a swinging strikeout, might have even a foul tip, and that is a strikeout for Camden. Unless Judge is batting, your car is safe because that parking lot is a long ways from the field here, and there's a lot of walking we had to do to get here.
Yeah, you might break a sweat on the way there and back. It's pretty far.
Batter now will be, let's see, the first baseman, Will Price. He was a strikeout victim, swinging back in the second inning. Cut on and fouled off the catcher, and then ricocheted back to the umpire, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Of course, in high school ball, they play 7 innings. But it's kind of moving at a little slower pace. Wildcats have had a lot of base runners, and we've had some long half innings, but the Wildcats have yet to dent the scoreboard, except on the hit and error totals. 2-0 our score. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. 1 out, nobody aboard here in the 4th. A little bit high, belt level. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. It's our first ball game, our first stream for sure of the year. And I'm not sure when our next scheduled one is. That pitch is cut on and missed, and that's a swinging strike to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Like I said, the guys will be headed down to Gulfport, Alabama, starting next week on their on their week of spring break. I guess we get 2 weeks, I guess, TJ. Isn't that the case? And there's a pitch that's inside and high. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. You know, back when I was at Oak Ridge High School 1,000 years ago, we got off Thursday and then Friday and then Monday of Easter, and that was our spring break. I mean, that's all we got. You know, that's all we got. Now you all are off for weeks at a time. And there's a swinging strike, and that is out number 2 in the inning. And the batter now will be Kason Beach. He's the center fielder. He was struck out looking back in the second inning. Right-handed hitter. Infield and outfield looks the same here. You got Wood at second, Witter at first, Teasley at third, Black at short. I don't know, we might have a new left fielder by the looks of the shoes. The shoes have changed. Can you see who's out in left field there, TJ? The shoes are not pink anymore. It's a little far from my eyes. Hey, Will. Will Presley walking by. Pitch is ripped to left field. That's a base hit. So they've got a 2-out base runner on. A hard hit ball that time by Beach. And one thing about Will, he's supportive. He comes to everything, and he lives a little bit close to here, but not really. But good to have Will Presley in the house.
Yeah, he's always showing up. He's got a little bit of a fear of missing out.
Could have shot it. Where'd he go? I didn't even see where he went to sit. We expect Will to have a great year at receiver next year. If we can pick him up, well, don't have enough time. We got to go back to live baseball here. Here's the pitch, outside and high. 1 ball, no strikes to count. 2-0 is our score. Two-out base runner for Gibbs. They lead it 2-0. That's their third hit off of Camden. Runner not going. It pitches outside a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. It's number 7, actually the number 8 hitter in their lineup. He was a strikeout victim back in the second inning. He was caught looking. Cut on and missed. Foul tip maybe. And the count is 2-1. As I said earlier, and I got somebody text me a moment ago, they heard me actually compliment an official. I think the umpire's done a good job here. And there's a throw over to first and easily back to the bag goes the base runner. We do have a new left fielder. I cannot see who that is. It is so far out. We'll hear after this pitch. Zoom in so we can see who that is. Okay. Right. Camden Britton is the left fielder. And good to have him in the ball game. His first action as a Wildcat. Pitch, cut on and missed. That's a swinging strike. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The only reason I could tell that it was a new guy because I didn't see the pink shoes out there that Cy Stevens was wearing. That's how I could tell there was a new left fielder. As once again, runner takes his lead at first. There's a strikeout, and they pick up a base runner. But once again, there's a strikeout, and Camden has a few of those. Wildcats got to get their bats going. We go to the top of the 5th inning. It is 2-0 Gibbs. We'll be back to Gibbs High School in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. We go to the 5th inning. Wildcats down 2 unearned runs to nothing. And the Wildcats will lead things off with the catcher, Parker Free. Pitch to him is sweeping pitch, swung on and miss. Count is no balls and 1 strike. It'll be Free, Witter, and Kai Welch, the scheduled 3. That pitch is foul tipped into the mitt, and the count is 0-2. Wildcats have got to find some offense. Sharp has been really good. He's given up some walks, and he's given up a couple base hits, but for the most part, he's been able to get out of trouble. And the Wildcats, as we said earlier, have had some base running mistakes that have hurt them. They've had 3 different players gunned down on the base paths. Pitch hit in the left field. That's a base hit. Really nice job of hitting by Parker Free. He fell behind and honestly didn't look great in the first 2 pitches, but just a solid single to left. And the Wildcats have their leadoff man aboard. And let's see, it looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner. It looks like Izzy Mitchell is coming out to run for Parker as a courtesy runner. So Izzy's the base runner. Izzy's in a mainstay in the Wildcat lineup for, a left fielder for the most part. Plays a little center field at times, and he's a base runner. didn't get a whole lot of at-bats last year, but he's had a really good spring, Coach Free has said, and Izzy has always got a smile on his face, always having a good time, and he's the base runner at first. That pitch is a called strike on the outside quarter to the first baseman for the Wildcats, Peyton Witter. Peyton, let's see, was retired 0 for 1 in the ball game. He was out in the first inning, the first out of the third inning. Izzy takes a pretty good sized lead. Wildcats haven't really been able to run much. There's a throw over to first, and Izzy's back to the bag safely. Wildcats now with 3 hits. Witter stands back in. Nobody out here. Izzy takes a pretty good sized lead, draws another throw. Back to the bag will go the senior. TJ, Izzy was one of your teammates. What kind of a teammate was he?
Oh, he's a great teammate. He's always making me laugh. He's really the joy of the team last year, to be honest with you.
Here's the pitch. Hit foul. Back to the screen. And Peyton behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Izzy Mitchell, the base runner. The Wildcats, let's see, on deck they've got Kyron Welch. He reached base safely on a walk. His first plate appearance back in the third. Wildcats trying to get some runs here. Been hard to come by against Sharp. He's been living up to his name as Izzy takes a good lead. Not going. The pitch is hit to the gap to right center field. Will it drop? It will. And the Wildcats will have runners at first and third with nobody out here. Ball went to the gap to right center field, and the Wildcats have something going here in the 5th inning. They've got them on the corners. And I couldn't tell, TJ. I kind of lost it for a little bit. Did he drop it, or did he ever even get to it?
He overran it.
Yeah. So he overran, I've been told, both sides. That's the good thing about having 2 younger people to my left and to my right who can see a little bit better than I. Let's see, we might have another change here. Looks like Coach Free is coming over to talk to the umpire. Kyron is the batter. Looks like we'll have a runner at first. Let's see who's going to check in. Looks like it's going to be Carson Fagan. He's going to check in at first base as a runner. And now we have a mound visit by the head coach of the Gibbs High Eagles. So the Wildcats have runners on the corners with nobody out here. Wildcats pick up their 4th hit of the night. Coach Maddox and Coach Free having words down below in the circle, the home plate area, while the conversation takes place on the mound. TJ, the Wildcats a golden opportunity here, 2 on with nobody out.
Yeah, I hope we can capitalize on it and at least get this game to a draw.
Wildcats, there are a lot of Oak Ridge fans actually sitting down here in front of us too, so it isn't really a bad crowd. It's your typical, parents, grandparents, family, but we got a few students here, about 3, I think, total, not counting TJ, who's a junior member of the Oak Ridge football team. Had a good year until shoulder injury kind of sidelined him a bit. Hopefully it won't sideline you this senior year. TJ will come back and talk about that in a moment. Batter now is number 9 hitter in the lineup, the designated hitter. That is Kai Welch. He stands in. Right-handed hitter. He plays catcher a bit for the Wildcats. Can play third. Pitch is a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Carson Fagan is the base runner at first base. Izzy Mitchell's down at third. 2-0 Gibbs, but the Wildcats got something going here in the 5th inning. They've had base runners all night. They just haven't been able to do much with them. Carson draws a throw over at first and back easily back to the bag. On deck for the Wildcats is Warren East. Warren is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Had a single to lead off the season and was stranded. Actually got erased on the base pass. The pitch, that's a called strike on a 76-mile-per-hour pitch, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Will Maddox is the first base coach of the Wildcats. Travis Free, the head coach, is down at third base. Kai back in. Good lead for Fagan. Not quite as big as the one that Izzy took earlier. Freshman. Back to the bag as the pitcher stepped off the rubber. Now he wants to have word with his catcher. 2-0 our score. So I mentioned this is the first game of the season officially for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge wasn't able to play Clinton yesterday. They'll play on March the 23rd. That is the rescheduled date for the rainout. Looks like we have an Amber Alert here. Is that what that is?
Yep, Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro, okay. Everybody's phone is going off all over the stadium here. As throw over to first, and Carson's back to the bag. Wildcats have had a few substitutions in the game. We have Camden Britton came in and played left in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Now Carson Fagan is running at first, and Izzy Mitchell came in to run as well. They're on the corners. 1-1 strike to Kyron. They throw over to third, and Izzy wasn't that far off the bag, and back to the bag easily he goes. Wildcats trying to break through here in the fifth. They trail it 2-0. Kai back in. 1-1 pitch is way outside, bounces around, and here comes the throw, and Izzy really slow getting back to the bag and just barely got under the tag, and Carson wisely stayed at first. The ball just didn't bounce around. There's not a whole lot of foul territory. It's kind of similar to the way Carnes, if you've ever been to Carnes High School, the little amount of foul territory directly behind the plate. 2-1 strike in a moment. The umpire getting a new baseball for the pitcher Sharp. And you know, he's lived up to his name here. He's had some base runners, but Sharp, for the most part, when he's gotten in trouble, he's gotten out of it.
Yeah, he's kept his composure pretty well.
Kai back in. 2-1 strike. Fagan with a short lead at first. Izzy a shorter lead at now at third. Pitch is down low. That's ball 3. It's 3-1 strike. The top of the order is looming on deck. The leadoff man, Warren East, who led the game off with a base hit. He's on deck. Freshman hit one inside the bag at third back in the first inning. Pitch, hit foul. TJ did it again. He flinched, but I'll give you a little credit. It was coming directly back to us. Count is full now. 3-2 strikes. There's a big net there, TJ.
I don't see the net when I see the ball coming at my head.
Full count, 3-2. Carson Fagan will be going on this pitch. He draws a throw. He didn't draw the throw at first. He stepped towards third and then came back towards first. And Carson, who would have been going, was hanging around the bag. Coach Maddox making sure he didn't get picked off at first. 3-2 strikes. Rain has stopped completely here at Gibbs. Carson not going. The pitch is up high, ball 4, and the Wildcats have the bases loaded with nobody out. In the top of the order we go to Warren East. Get it back there for Kai. And bases loaded. Izzy Mitchell, and that's going to be the end of the night's work for Mr. Sharp. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change. It looks like they're going to bring the first baseman in the pitch, and that will be Will Price. While we do have a pitching change, why don't we zoom in on our Wildcats down here below. The Wildcats trail it 2-0. When we come back, the Wildcats will have the bases loaded with nobody out. Back here at Gibbs High School, good situation for the Wildcats. They have to take advantage of it. The Wildcats have allowed 2 unearned runs, and they are behind in the ball game, 2-0. As we watch the Wildcats bat here in the fifth, the Wildcats have been able to load the bases with a couple of walks and a base hit, and now that's the top of the order. About to greet the new pitcher for the Gibbs High Eagles, and I believe that is their first baseman. I think he's the guy who came over to pitch. That's Will Price, and he'll be facing top of the order, and that'll be Warren East, freshman, right-handed hitter. He's the guy with the dirty uniform down below. Wildcats, be alert here, TJ, follow this ball, because I was watching him pitch, and he has a funky kind of delivery, but he doesn't seem to be throwing super hard. As Warren will stand up in, he'll be followed by Caden Black in the lineup. Bases full of Wildcats. And the pitch hit in the air on the infield. Third baseman, the pitcher calling for it. It's the third baseman who makes the catch. So one pitch, one out. And Coach Free not too happy. I guess Warren swinging at the first pitch. I believe kind of just his displeasure. Now it's up to a guy who's been clutch his whole career for the Oak Ridge Wildcats, and that would be Caden Black. Caden 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight, though. Struck out in the first inning, popped out to left field back in the third. Bases remain loaded. Wildcats need to get something going here as that pitch is sweeping outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Lefty versus lefty here. Caden Black, like I said, traditionally very strong for the Wildcats, as always seems to come up with clutch hits. We could use one, his patented down the line hits right here. He takes ball 2. Walk will be okay. 2 balls and no strikes. Bases loaded, 2-0 our score. Caden, the senior, he'll be followed by Mikey Teasley. You got the guys up that you want. 2-0 pitch. Here it comes. High, 80-mile-per-hour pitch is up high, and that's ball 3. So he is in danger of walking in the Wildcats' first run of the ball game. Caden Black's got a good eye. He walks a lot. Last year he got hit a lot with pitches. He's kind of about halfway in the box there on the left side. 3 balls and no strikes. Bases loaded. 2-0 our score. The Wildcats trailing. Oh boy. I guess that's the old automatic. From my vantage point, it was outside. But, you know, sometimes the umpire's 3-0 pitch gives the benefit of the doubt to the pitcher, and I doubt it, to their benefit. 3 balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Inside, there is ball 4, and that is the first run of the ball game. That is an RBI walk for Caden Black. In the score, the Wildcats' first run is Izzy Mitchell. The Wildcats, the bases remain loaded, and the batter now will be Mikey Teasley. 2-1 our score, so a little bit of wildness there. He's throwing hard. In fact, he's actually throwing harder than Sharp, as he was in the low 80s. Bases remain loaded, and the pitch to Mikey is down low, another ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Carson Fagan is the base runner at third. Wildcats at second base have Kyron Welch. The runner at first is Caden Black, and he draws a throw. TJ, do me a favor here. Why don't, in a minute, let's go through look at the base runners here and get some zoom in on after this pitch. Hopefully Mikey will hit it over the dead center field wall here for a grand slam. He's ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. We'll check those base runners in a moment. The pitch. Down, it's a called strike at the knees. At third base, zoom in on it. That is Carson Fagan. Out at second, that is Kyron Welch. First base, we've got Caden Black. You can back out real quick. Here's the pitch. Cut on a miss. 80-plus miles per hour on that one. And the count is 1-2. So Mikey behind in the count on deck for Oak Ridge. Boy, I smell hot dog chili or something. It smells pretty good.
Yeah, it smells really good, actually.
It's all of a sudden a whiffed up here. Bases loaded. Mikey back in. Sophomore. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to him. Outside at 78 miles per hour. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases remain loaded. Wildcats have plated a run here in the 5th inning and have cut the deficit to 2-1. 2-1. Well, TJ, I'm giving you a lot of credit. This is your first ball game, and you're having to do camera, you're having to listen to me, and you're having to do the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm kind of having an overload right now, Dave. I'm not gonna lie.
And you're afraid of the ball when it gets fouled back. So there's a lot of things going on in your life right now. Bases loaded. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mikey Teasley. Sophomore stands in, righty versus lefty. 2-2 pitch, cut on a miss. Really nice pitch there. And that is a strikeout of Mikey Teasley swinging. And that is the second out of the inning. And the batter now will be Camden Welch. And Wildcats, if they want to, tie it or take the lead, it's going to be lefty versus lefty here. In his first plate appearance, he drilled a line drive to center field for an out. He also grounded out to second. He's 0 for 2 in the ballgame. But that first at bat, he just nailed it, just barreled it up. But unfortunately, it was right at the center fielder. Lefty versus lefty here. Pitch to the plate. Down low a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. The Wildcats have plated a run on a bases-loaded walk. RBI for Caden Black. Izzy Mitchell came in to score. He was the runner in the ball game for the catcher Parker Free, who actually reached on a single. Now timeout is, I think, asked for as the catcher kind of stomps on the home plate area and put a little more dirt on it. And we're going to have a runner now in the ball game. So the Wildcats using courtesy runners here as Camden steps in. 1 ball, no strikes to count. 2 outs, bases full of Wildcats in a 2-1 ball game. Lefty versus lefty. And the pitch. High and inside. Here's a throw, and easily back to the bag will go Carson Fagan. He had to go back on his belly, but he got under the tag, and Cam ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Let's zoom in just a little bit there, TJ, just a little bit, and get the backside of that umpire. 2-0 pitch, called a strike at the knees, right down the middle, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Welch back in, 2 balls, 1 strike. Pitch to him, inside corner at the knees for a called strike. This guy has come in and thrown nothing but strikes, with the exception of the walk to Caden Black. He is really humming it. Came in from first base. Wildcats have plated a run, but let's see what we can do. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner of the plate, and the Wildcats have the bases loaded. They were able to score the 1 run, but the relief guy came in and did his job, gave up that 1 walk with the bases loaded, but after that, he was lights out, and Welch goes down swinging. That is the second strikeout of the inning. But the Wildcats inch a little bit closer. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Gibbs. In a pitcher's duel for sure, the Wildcats trailing it 2-1. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. The Wildcats have a new pitcher. Looks like it's going to be Peyton Witter to come in to pitch for the Wildcats in relief of Cam Welch, who finishes the game. I've got him with 7 strikeouts on the year, 2 unearned runs charged to him. Of course, you know, one of the errors was his own, so I don't know how you can it's still unearned as they came around to score, but it's 2-1, and right now it's the number 9 hitter leading things off against Witter. He is the catcher. He was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd inning. Witter started the game at first, and his first pitch sweeps inside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Cam Welch moves to first base as that pitch is hit foul and out of play into a nice little subdivision I was noticing right behind the field here. Gibbs is kind of a growing community, I've been told, and you know their facilities are nice, as we've talked about. Nobody out, nobody aboard. 5th inning, 2-1 our score. Pitch, Witter's cut on a miss. And Jeff, how fast was that one? 68 mile per hour slider. Thank you. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit right in front of the plate. Witter's going to field it. Has time, throws on the first in time for out number 1. Good job there, TJ. So that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pitcher to first. And back to the top of the order we go to Mason Melton. Melton scored their first run. He reached base on a walk. I believe he reached base on a walk. They had a pop-up, actually, in the infield, which the Oak Ridge pitcher wasn't able to catch, which would have resulted in an out. But unfortunately, they came around to score those 2 unearned runs back in the 3rd inning. Looks like, let's see, the infield remains the same, it would appear, as I look around. About everybody's in the same place. Richie as the pitch. The only changes we've had, really, is Camden Britton is playing left field right now. He came in for Cy Stevens. And we've had the pitching change, obviously. Just the pitcher switched with the first baseman. Witter now pitching, and Welch is now at first. 1-0 pitch, hit foul off the end of the bat, right behind the plate. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. I was kind of joking that we'd be out of here by 8 o'clock, but it has been a slow-moving game.
Yeah, it has. I feel like every inning's been stretched out.
So many base runners. I mean, the Wildcats have had a ton of base runners in this game. They've had a few of them picked off as well. Witter, his first appearance as a Wildcat. He comes from a baseball family. His dad was a former head coach at the high school level. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody aboard, 1 out. Pitch, low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. TJ Hibbins doing camera work right now. I'll look up at the lights there. It's light. It's still coming down a little bit, but it's just barely enough to kind of not even get the. There's another little slow one going up the third base line, and it's foul. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. They haven't really gotten good contact these last 2 batters. Other one was just a little number fielded by Witter out. And that one just barely went up the line. Grass is a little high, but not bad. It went foul immediately, and Wildcats made the wise decision not to touch it. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 5th inning. Checking the scoreboard here. TJ's got everything going right. It's 2-1. We're in the 5th. Wildcats had a golden opportunity. They did score the 1 run, but they just couldn't pick up the big hit that they needed to get more runs to tie it or take the lead. Witter comes to the plate. That one's high and outside. And we've got a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Boys are headed down to Gulf Shore, Alabama. Here's 3-2 pitch. Hit hard in the left field. And Camden is going to track it down. Rolls to the wall just a bit, gets past him, and they'll have a 1-out double out in left field. And ball was hit hard. I thought initially that Mikey might be able to get over there to field it, but the ball was hit like a rocket, and they've got a runner in scoring position with one out. And the number 2 hitter is Hayden Mills here. Hayden's been on base both times. He walked, had an RBI his last time with a double. And he stands in, number 10 for them. Shortstop for the Gibbs Eagles. They lead it 2-1. They've got another scoring threat going here. Wildcats, Witter in relief of Welch. Outfield might be a little wet. Ball scooted a little bit on Camden as that pitch is a called strike on the inside corner. Kind of just kept on riding in on him. Must have caught the corner. No balls and 1 strike. Witter trying to avoid any more damage. As we said, we're already in the 5th inning. The Wildcats trailing. It's close, 2-1. That pitch is outside. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. First game of the year for the Wildcats. I'm not sure if Gibbs has played. I said that earlier. I'm not sure if they played. I didn't check. It was kind of iffy all day whether we were going to play. The field conditions, according to their coach, not good. That pitch cut on the miss. Really nice pitch that time, and the count is 1-2. And then they were worried about the rain obviously coming in, and it is raining now. It's coming down a little harder, straight down right now. But like I said, we're outside, but we're kind of under an overhang. Payton needs a big pitch right here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, runner at second. Pitch. Hit foul. Over towards the soccer field and football field. It's well out of play, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So what's your thoughts on doing baseball here, TJ? Your first attempt to help us out in baseball?
Well, I mean, I would like the game to be a little bit more, I don't know what the word to use for it, a little less slow, but you know, I'm enjoying it.
1-2 pitch. That one stays high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-1 our score. We're in the 5th inning. It is slow because I've had so many base runners, so many deep counts. Witter, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Checks the runner at second. Taking a pretty good size lead. 2-2 pitch. Hit foul. Off to the right side and out of play, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is their number 2 hitter in their lineup. As I mentioned, he's reached base safely twice. Had an RBI double his last time. Walked back in the first. This is Hayden Mills, right-handed hitter. From the stretch, Witter, the left-hander, comes to the plate. Stays high and outside, and he's worked the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, 1 on. In a 1-run ball game. Parker Free still the catcher. Gives the sign. Signaling in from the Oak Ridge dugout to our right. And here's a full count pitch. Outside and high, it's ball 4. So the Eagles have runners at first and second. The good thing about that, I guess, if you can look at the positives here, is it does set up a force at every base. But the number 3 hitter is the batter. That is Talon Owens. Talon had a really fine sacrifice bunt back in the first inning. Popped out to the first baseman, Witter, back in the 3rd inning. He is 0 for 1 in the ballgame with that sacrifice. Runners at first and second, 1 out in a 1-run ballgame. Witter comes to the plate, outside and low, right at maybe a little bit below the knees, and the count is 1-0. It is raining harder now, TJ.
I told you it was coming, David.
And you were absolutely right. Their coach said it was going to be after 11, but that's not. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Hit foul. Back to the screen. Hey, TJ did not move an inch.
I did not. I probably wasn't paying attention too much.
That is TJ Hibben. He is a junior at Oak Ridge High School doing our camera work and scoreboard today. Ben George watching our broadcast today. Ben, one of our crew. He'll have him at some point during the course of baseball, along with Vashawn Knowles and Caleb Riker and Here's a pitch, a little bit low. Kind of 2 balls and 1 strike, and I guess we'll probably have some others. I know Gary Giles has told me that he is going to be on our crew during baseball season. Remember the Oak Ridge basketball team. He was going to come tonight. Has AAU practice. 2 balls, 1 strike. Peyton Witter, the relief pitcher for Cam Welch. And timeout is asked for. Witter needs a big pitch here. Runner's going, and the pitch is a called strike 3. And I believe it's strike 3. Maybe I'm wrong. It's 2-2. I'm sorry, my fault. But it's a double steal for the Eagles, and they've got 2 runners now in scoring position. And a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Runners, the infield is in for the Wildcats. They'll come home with anything hit on the ground. The ball's hit foul back to the screen. It is getting late. Alan Etheridge watching our broadcast tonight up in New York City. My first look at Witter as a pitcher. He comes in, cut on. There's a strikeout, and held on there nicely by Parker Free, and that is the first strikeout of the ball game for Peyton. But he's going to have to face the number 4 hitter in their lineup, who is actually 0 for 2 in the ball game. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, reached on an error in the 3rd inning. He's officially 0 for 2. My first look at Peyton Witter as a pitcher, I saw him, well, actually that's not the truth. I saw him Saturday in the scrimmage game, and I think he faced 3 guys, and all 3 got eliminated. We're going to have an intentional walk here to Will Sharp, and that kind of gets the attention of the Gibbs fans. And the batter now will be Zayden Ivey, the left fielder. Zayden 0 for 2 in the ballgame, grounded out to Welch at the pitcher's spot back in the first, struck out to Cam Welch back in the 4th inning. Bases full of Eagles. That pitch is hit. Should be an out. The center fielder coming over and should be under it, and is, and makes the catch for out number 3. So the Wildcats give us a little bit of a scare, but Peyton Witter gets out of trouble and retires the side with no damage done. We go to the top of the 6th inning here at Gibbs High School. The Wildcats trail the Eagles 2-1, hoping for a fantastic finish for the Cardinal and Gray. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. Cy Stevens re-enters the ball game. He'll be hitting for Camden Britton, who had played left field the last couple of innings. But in high school baseball, you can re-enter ball games, and that is what Cy has done. Cy on the day, let's see, flew out to center back in the second inning and walked in the fourth inning. He's the leadoff man for the Wildcats, and he takes one low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Wildcats trailing 2-1, 2 unearned runs in the ball game. For the Wildcats' cause, they've had 3, I believe, base runners gunned down on the base pass. Oh, man. And man, I don't know how that missed him. I think he should have warned that one and been the leadoff man aboard. It's easy for me to say when I'm not the one being hit by a baseball, but I don't know how he missed him because that came so inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Wildcats need some base runners here. It's only a 2-1 ball game. That pitch is high and outside. Cy heading the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Pitcher beginning his first full inning here in the ball game is their former first baseman Will Price, and he walked the first guy he faced last inning, and he gets the leadoff man. Or walks the leadoff man on 4 straight here. And he'll be replaced on the base pass by Izzy once again. So the Wildcats have the potential tying run on board at first. And Izzy does come into the game to run. And the batter will be Richie Ferreira. Richie actually had a double to right field back in the second inning and popped out to third in the fourth inning. It's a good batter. It's lefty versus lefty here. Izzy with good speed, obviously, at first. Izzy Mitchell, senior, member of the Wildcats, 4-year member of the program, football player. The pitch is a called strike to Richie Ferreira. Richie will be followed by Parker Free, who had a single his last plate appearance. His runner was Izzy, and he scored the Wildcats' only run to this point. Richie has started most of the year last year. Izzy, a good lead. Let's see if he goes. He's going to draw the throw, and throw was down in the dirt. Actually, Izzy was leaning towards second and kind of got lucky that the throw wasn't a good one, or he might have been out number 1 here. Right, it's coming straight down now. Before it was kind of going towards the field. Izzy takes a very short lead. He draws another throw, and he really wasn't off the bag that much at all. He was able to get back with ease. Coach Will having conversation here. TJ doing his best to keep the camera out of the rain. Like I said, we're under an underhang here, but rain's starting to come straight on down. Richie steps back in. As I mentioned, he doubled his first plate appearance, 1 for 2 in the ball game. 2-1, Gibbs. The Wildcats batting in the 6th inning. Pitch, hit, foul, and then the bat comes slapping out of his hand. He throws it all the way to the Oak Ridge dugout and past and beyond it, all the way past. I mean, obviously it's raining and slick, and he just couldn't hold on to it. And in high school ball, that might be the farthest bat sling I think I've ever seen. I mean, it went all the way past first. It was heading towards the Oak Ridge dugout. There's a little fence in front of it. We're screened. I couldn't see it, actually. Richie back in as the rain starts to come down harder here. Hopefully we won't have a rain delay there, TJ. The game's an official game already as Izzy draws yet another throw. Ferreira behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. We have Coach Etheridge watching us in New York City as another throw to first. We have Ulrich watching us on Long Island. So we got New York, some of our biggest viewers here. You have a weather forecast for us?
A big old storm rolling in on the radar.
Not good. Izzy takes his lead. He needs to go. And not going. And Richie takes called strike 3. And Richie doesn't agree with it, but, I mean, that's a good-looking pitch. And that is out number 1. It's hard for a lefty to bat there. And the batter now for the Wildcats will be Parker Free. Parker had a single his last plate appearance. You don't. The game is an official game now, so you don't want it to end now. As Izzy really's been kind of had to be kind of kept close to the bag at first. He's thrown over there several times, as we've seen that the whole game. As he checks the runner, Izzy, and he throws one outside. Izzy was heading back to the bag. He's got a very deceptive way he looks and the way he stands, the way he throws. He delivers it with a little kind of a strange angle with his elbow too. Parker ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. On deck for Oak Ridge is Peyton Witter. Izzy another short lead off of first. Parker back in. And they got him picked off. If they get a good throw, they don't. Izzy is in with a stolen base. He saw they had him picked off in terms, and he threw it to first, but he just kind of lobbed it over to first and really didn't give the first baseman a good opportunity, and that's a stolen base for Izzy Mitchell. So the potential tying run is now in scoring position. And now Parker can stand in, a base hit, potentially ties the ball game. Here's the pitch, high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the freshman catcher for the Wildcats. Izzy takes his lead off of second base. Izzy scored the only run so far. Here's a throw back to second. The second baseman had come in behind him, but Izzy wasn't too far off the bag. Parker back in. We're going to get wet going to the car, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, we're about to get soaked. It's starting. This ain't even the bad part of it yet, David.
Mitchell takes his lead off of second once again. The pitch, way outside. That's ball 3, I think. Maybe ball 2 on the scoreboard. I guess it's 2 balls and no strikes. All the throws over to first. It is ball 3. I was right in the first place. Shouldn't doubt myself. Parker back in. Wildcats have Peyton Witter on deck. Another lefty facing a left-hander. Lefties he's been tough on the left-handers. Here's the throwback, and it goes into center field, and Izzy is going to try it. Here comes the throw, and he is safe. He got a late jump. The ball ticked off the glove at third baseman's glove, and Izzy was able to get in. It was dangerous because they almost got him. They almost got him at third, but ball ticked off the glove, and the Wildcats have the potential tying run now at third base and a 3-ball, no-strike count. So what does Coach Free elect to do here with his son Parker? He's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes, the tying run at third in a 2-1 ball game as the rain falls here at Gibbs High School. Pitcher is saying he's got mud in his cleats. No, doesn't want to stall too much. It's not raining super hard. It is raining steadily, but it is not like it's a deluge here. So hopefully they won't stop the ball game when we've got the tying run at third base here. As got a 3-ball, no-strike count on Parker. Infield is in. Pitch, ball 4, bounces away. Oh, and Izzy's. It didn't. You're exactly right. Hit the ball. Like I said, the behind the plate is very similar to Carnes. There isn't a whole lot of room back behind the plate, but it's ball 4. And Izzy wisely stayed out at third. You don't want to have the Wildcats are going to get a runner into the ball game, and Oak Ridge will get into the ball game. Tri Sharp, and it looks like we could have a pitching change, maybe just a conversation. Tri Sharp will be the base runner at first, and Wildcats have runners at first and third. While this conversation takes place, I want to remind everybody we are on our YouTube channel. We will broadcast as many ball games as possible on our YouTube channel, as I have a job that kind of takes me away. Let's kind of pull in our stuff off out of the rain there, TJ, as I noticed all of our stuff getting wet. But we will broadcast as many as we possibly can. That's home and away ball games. So just the best thing to do, and of course, parents and family members can text you when we are go live. But the best thing to do is to subscribe to our channel, and then you are alerted every time we do go live for a ball game. It's not hard. You don't get emails. You don't get phone calls. Just the subscription. You do get the email saying anytime we do go live. So if you're watching our YouTube channel on Prep Radio, subscribe, and you get the notice when we do go live for a live ball game, and get your relatives to do the same, and they'll know. Runners on the corners now, one out here. The Wildcats trailing 2-1 as they bat here in the 6th inning. Right-handed hitter stands in. Pitch to the plate, low and inside. Oh, he called a strike on Witter. That pitch was inside for sure. He's been very consistent on that one. Uh-oh, TJ. No balls and 1 strike. Peyton Witter, the batter. See if the Wildcats put some kind of a play on to send the runner at first, and maybe they're going to draw the throw at first, and back to the bag will go. I guess that's Trice. It was number 7, I think. Witter is the batter, batting from the right side. Izzy Mitchell is the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at first, potential go-ahead run. Takes his lead off of first. Witter back in, draws another throw, and it's right on him. Man, he was leaning, was Trice Sharp, but he got back to the bag just in time. Wildcats have had several picked off. They've had some gunned down in this game. 2 unearned runs, and they trail it 2-1. Witter trying to change that right here. He's behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Trice takes his lead off of first. Here's the pitch. Called strike on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-2. They had the infield in a moment ago. I'm really surprised they haven't put a play on at first. Try to get a rundown play, but it is slippery conditions out there. Izzy's fallen down, and his pants are now pretty much destroyed. As good lead by Trice now at first, and he draws yet another throw, and he is going to be in the rundown. And they're going to throw, and here comes Izzy. Izzy's going to score. Izzy scores. Brain lock for the Gibbs High Eagles. They go for the rundown play. They get Trice, but Izzy Mitchell comes in to score, and the Wildcats have tied the ball game at 2-2. So just kind of a mistake on the part of the infield. They didn't even check Izzy, and he was able to come in and score, and we are tied 2-2. Peyton back in. No balls and 2 strikes. Trice stayed alive just long enough for Izzy to come in to score, and it's been one of those kind of ball games as the rain's kind of slacking up. Pitch is cut on a miss, and that is a strikeout, and that is out number 3. But the Wildcats do tie the ball game. They haven't done it in the conventional fashion. They've walked in a run, and they've gotten in a rundown situation where a run scored for the second run and the tying run. 2-2 our score. Back for the bottom of the 6th in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Wildcats have scored and tied the ball game. Now it's up to Peyton Witter to hold it right where it is as the rain's still falling here at Gibbs. And he'll be facing, let's see, Will Price, the pitcher, and that pitch is down low, a ball. Two balls, no strikes, the count. Price, the batter. Steps off the mound. Still raining, but not really quite as hard. I've just told TJ you have a fan club. I'm jealous.
Hey, they just like my forecasts.
I don't like your forecast because it's rain.
Well, I think you're just jealous you can't forecast like me, David.
I can forecast. I'm looking at the lights and I'm seeing it's raining. I just don't know how long it's going to rain. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count. Peyton comes to the plate, hit foul, back to the screen. And he's even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Is Will Price batting. He'll be followed by, let's see, Beach and then Rutherford in the Gibbs lineup. 2-2 our score, 6th inning. So I mentioned, look at the lower part of your screen. You'll see there's some advertisers flashing by there. Those are our basketball as that ball is hit in the air, right side, shallow right. Right fielder Richie Ferreira makes the one-handed grab for out number 1. Kind of flipped it over to his second baseman, but the out was recorded. What I was going to say is those advertisers on the bottom left of your screen are our basketball radio sponsors, but we're going to kind of keep them on for a little while because we appreciate them. And actually, for us to broadcast these ball games, we have to have sponsors. We have no sponsors in baseball, to be honest with you. It's kind of basically out of my pocket here. But those guys were with us most of football, most of basketball, and I want to make sure they still get some attention. Just tell them you appreciate it because we couldn't do these kind of games without them. Pitches the ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 2-2 our score as the Wildcats are in the field here. Let's see. No changes in the field. Pitch is cut on a miss. That's a high fastball. I didn't hear the speed on that one. 75 mile per hour fastball by Peyton Witter, junior pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. That one's way outside. Might have overthrown it just a bit. Some of the Gibbs fans have headed out or looking for cover as the rain falls here. That coach told us it wasn't going to rain until 11 o'clock tonight. Pitch, hit foul, back to the screen, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The good news is, I mean, and TJ and I we went and talked to the guy before and asked him about it, and we made the determination that we were going to go outside and set the camera up because we didn't have a great view from the inside a luxurious, large press box. But we're out in the rain. 2-2 pitch. A little bit outside, and the count is full, I believe, 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 out, nobody aboard. 3-2 pitch. Upcoming to Cason Beach. Hit well to left field, but it should be caught. Left fielder under it, makes the catch for out number 2. And let's see. Everybody's jersey, is that Izzy? That was Izzy Mitchell. I thought it was Izzy out there. We've had 2 left fielders in this one. So Izzy did come in and play left field, so good catch there by Izzy. Very steady in the outfield. He's made some spectacular plays over the course of his career at Oak Ridge High School, not only on the diamond but on the football field as well. 2 up and 2 down here. Number 8 hitter takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. This is Jaden Rutherford, the right fielder. He has struck out looking both times tonight, once in the 2nd and the next time in the 4th. He takes one up high, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. In the 7th inning, the Wildcats will have the number 9 hitter to lead things off, then top of the order with Easton and Caden Black. That pitch is down low. So the Wildcats have 3 solid hitters to try to take the lead here as the rain falls at Gibbs. 2-2 our score. Did you come Tazewell Pike? How'd you get here?
Yeah, I went through Tazewell Pike. It was a very just straight along the road drive.
Yeah, I've been down that many times. My grandparents lived on that road, so I've been on that road quite a bit. 3 balls and 1 strike. Peyton Witter, junior hurler for the Wildcats, comes to the plate, cut on a missed. Nice pitch that time. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Peyton came in relief of Camden Welch. He's done a good job. Had one little blip last inning, loaded the bases, but got out of it. Pitch, cut on a miss. That's a swinging strikeout, and that's the 3rd time tonight that young man has gone down. This time he goes down swinging. 3 up and 3 down for Peyton Witter here in the 6th inning. We go to the 7th inning, and we just lost power here at Gibbs. The lights have gone out. The only thing that's on is the scoreboard, as you can see. Well, I tell you, TJ, a couple years ago we were at Carnes High School, and the exact same thing happened, and they never were able to get the lights on. The game was suspended. And I think at that time Oak Ridge was actually ahead in the ball game, but not tonight. It looks like they still have power. I assume we still have power on our computer. We still have power on our camera. And now everyone's getting out their cell phones as the music plays here. Hopefully we'll have more baseball for you. But right now, we are in the dark in a 2-2 ball game as the Wildcats prepare to play and bat in the 7th inning. We'll be back to Gibbs in a moment. David Clary back here along with TJ Hibben, where we are still sitting in the dark as the Wildcats prepare to bat in the top half of the 7th inning. and I have seen no sign of the lights even starting to flicker. And I know it's the first game of the year and things like this happen, but what's interesting about it is obviously the scoreboard lights are still working. The PA is still working. The lights and the power is still on, obviously in the press box, and that has kept us on the air. But we don't matter. The PA doesn't matter. The scoreboard doesn't matter. What matters is the lights on the field, obviously. And like I said, a couple of years ago, we were over at Carnes High School, and the exact same thing happened. And we were up in that district ball game and had to come back later and finish it off. And hopefully they'll figure out a way to get these lights back on. The soccer lights have come back on down on the football field. And obviously they cannot, use these lights to lighten it up. And get a look at that. I mean, the lights have come on the football field, which is down to our left. And I didn't even notice that their game was over. Or maybe they turned them off. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get the lights on here. The Wildcats are preparing to bat in the 7th inning. Wildcats are out of their dugout, as are the Gibbs High Eagles. They're out there kind of working on their field because the rain is still falling here at Gibbs. But they did get the football lights on for sure. Not much we can say, TJ. I mean, we're at the mercy of whatever happened to these lights.
To be honest with you, I think when they were turning off the soccer lights, they flipped the wrong switch.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, because I didn't even notice if that game was over or not. It's kind of, we can't actually see the game. I've just been able to see the lights the whole time, and I would normally kind of read down what has happened in the ball game, but I have no lights to see actually. But I can tell you we are tied at 2-2. Two teams have 4 hits apiece. The Wildcats have committed, I believe, 2 errors in the ball game. The Gibbs High Eagles have yet to commit a ruled error. The Wildcats have been the beneficiaries of several walks. Wildcats have scored in odd ways. I can tell you how they score. The Wildcats scored their first run on a bases-loaded walk. Izzy Mitchell came in to score. Caden Black got the RBI. The second run, where they tied the ball game, what happened was the Wildcats had runners at first and third. Wildcats had Izzy Mitchell again at third. They had Trice Sharp, a courtesy runner at first. The pitcher threw over. Trice was caught off the bag and was caught in a rundown and just barely was able to accelerate to avoid the tag of the first baseman. And Gibbs forgot all about it. Either they forgot how many outs were in the ball game, or they just totally forgot about the runner at third. But while they had Trice in the rundown between first and second, Izzy came in to score the second run and the tying run. The 2 runs scored by the Gibbs Eagles came in the third, and they were both unearned. The Wildcats dropped a couple of kind of routine pop-ups in the infield, which fell to the turf, and Gibbs scored their runs that way. And kind of tough for Cam Welch, although one of the errors was his own, but he pitched really well. 7 strikeouts in the ball game, but Peyton Winters come in to retire in relief of him. And as the lights are still off here at Gibbs High School, music's playing, so I better turn off the microphone. 2-2 our score. Stay with us. Keep checking back. We'll stay on our stream on YouTube on our Prep Radio channel. 2-2 our score. Hopefully the lights will come back on. And here they are. Boom! Here come the lights at Gibbs High School. So just as I was about to go, I guess they'll let the pitcher warm up a little bit more. He had just came out on the mound to get his warm-up pitches, and the lights went out. And Wildcats will prepare to bat here in the 7th inning. I'm going to turn the mic off, and we'll be back in a moment. David Clary back here along with TJ Hibben. We're at Gibbs High School. We had a short delay. It couldn't have been more than 10 minutes or so. The lights went out, and they were able to get the lights back on here as the Wildcats prepare to bat. We're in a 2-2 ball game. It's the number 9 hitter, Kai Welch, to lead things off for Oak Ridge. And then the top of the order, let's see, Kai walked back in the third inning and got on base as well. He'll step in for the Wildcats. It's 2-2 our score as the Wildcats bat here in the 7th inning. Left-hander in relief, comes to the plate. Fastball, 83 miles per hour for a called strike on the outside half of the plate. Well, it's the number 9 hitter. Takes a strike, no balls and 1 strike. Pitch, cut on and missed. Good pitch that time, and he's really come in and done a great job in relief. Starting pitcher Sharp wasn't that bad at all as well, but he's come in and throwing a little bit harder. He's playing, started the game at first base, did Will Price. 2-strike pitch on the inside corner, called strike 3. That is out number 1 here in the 7th inning. And back to the top of the order we go to Warren East. Warren led off the season with a single back in the first inning, was a strikeout victim in the third, and let's see, popped out to third base in the 5th inning. 1 out, nobody aboard. The pitch. Inside corner again. He is really throwing strikes as Warren comes back in. Behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Price working fast. Pitch. Breaking pitch. This one outside and low. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Not raining quite as hard. Still raining, but it's just kind of a sprinkle right now. 7th inning, 2-2 the score. Wildcats need a base runner. A lot of the fans have headed to the exit, especially the young ones. There are a lot of students here from Gibbs. There were a ton of them.
Yeah, it's probably because they don't got nothing to do out here, Dave.
Be nice. Be nice. Catcher's going to have to take off his gear here. Kind of readjust here. We had a delay. Probably was about 10 minutes, would you say? About 10-minute delay?
Yeah, about 10, 15.
Wasn't bad. And kind of seeing exactly little equipment malfunction for the catcher. And he's reattaching his catcher's gear. He's looking over into the dugout, and he says he's okay. And fan over there really having a good time with the catcher, Mason Melton. And I missed it. He's kind of a heavier set guy, having a lot of fun. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch, low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wildcats need a base runner. Wildcats have gotten some really good pitching, 2 unearned runs. The game's just been weird. I mean, all 4 runs that have scored have been in strange ways. Pitch, cut on miss. That's a really nice pitch, 80-plus miles per hour, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. He has really pitched well in relief. Warren sends back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch, cut on a miss. And that is a strikeout. That is the second strikeout of the inning. He now has, looks like 4 to his credit. Actually, maybe 6 to his credit, as the Wildcats are down to their final out here in the top of the 7th inning, and the batter will be Caden Black. Caden had an RBI bases loaded walk back in the previous inning. He struck out in the first, flew out to left in the third, and he fouls one back to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Might have fouled it off himself. He's in a little bit of pain, and Coach Maddox comes over to check on him and gets a little moral support from Mikey Teasley as well. No balls and 1 strike. Caden kind of wanders around. Umpire gives him a little time to recover himself, and he'll step back in. Got to have a little humor in the stands here. That guy provided that to the fans still in attendance here. Well, the rain's almost completely stopped now. Thank goodness. Caden back in. No balls and one strike. That hit him in the back. So the Wildcats have speed on the base paths. And I mentioned this earlier. Last year, Caden got hit a lot. I mean, he got hit a lot last season. And you don't want to get on base that way because it hurts. But the Wildcats needed a base runner.
Hey, a base is a base.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say we didn't just get hit in the back with a pitch.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not going to lie.
Wildcat batter is Mikey Teasley, a gapper right here. Anything in the gap, I believe Caden Black can come around to score. But let's see what he can do. Mikey can do here. Mikey struck out his last plate appearance. He walked previous to that and walked the first time. Caden with great speed. He's the base stealing record holder at Oak Ridge High School. He's the base runner for the Wildcats, 4-year player for the Wildcats. Good speed. The track's got to be a little bit slow with the mud and the dirt, but Caden's got great speed here. 1 ball, no strikes. He draws a throw. Man, throwing one away would be nice. Get Caden in scoring position for the sophomore third baseman, Mikey Teasley. Right-handed batter, ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Once again, Caden draws a throw at first. He's out of the screen there. TJ, you might want to get Caden in the shot there. Just pull back on the screen a little bit on the zoom. But he is the base runner at first. Good lead at first now. Not going. Pitch is outside the ball. 2 balls and no strikes. That one just barely off the plate. Ball bounced away from the pitcher, but not far enough. And Caden wisely with 2 outs in the 7th inning stays put. Mikey will step back in. 2 balls and no strikes. Like I said, all the runs that have scored in this game have been weird. I mean, it hasn't been your traditional just, doubles with a runner in scoring position, or, they've been, weird plays. Bases loaded walk, and then the rundown play that allowed Izzy to score, and they have 2 unearned runs. Caden draws yet another throw, and Oak Ridge fans a little impatient, but, I mean, they understand. They know who Caden Black is. He's got good speed. He's a good base runner. And he, like I said, if they hit one in the gap and he's going to score. That's a little closer this time. He has to go back on his stomach. And like if he could hit one to the right center field gap, Caden's going to score if Mikey can do that. And that's why they're keeping him close to the bag. Here's the pitch, way outside. Here's a snap throw to first, and Caden back to the bag. And they're 1 pitch away from giving Oak Ridge a runner in scoring position as Mikey Teasley's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. TJ Hibben is with us doing technical work and camera in a 2-2 ball game as the Wildcats bat in the 7th. Another malfunction by the catcher. A little equipment issue there, and they're going to switch things out, I guess. I think the rain's still falling, but not nearly as bad. We are outside, but out of the weather. Somebody's cell phone is in the weather down there recording the right behind the plate. Oh. Mikey Teasley steps back in, sophomore. Caden Black, the base runner at first. The pitch, cut on a miss. Swung at 3 balls and no strikes and cut through it. Price has done a really, really good job pitching for the Eagles. Caden, a bigger lead at first now. Wouldn't be surprised if he throws over. Not going. He does throw over, though. And back to the bag goes Black. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 7th inning, 2-2 our score. First game of the year for the Wildcats, taking on the Gibbs High Eagles, state champions in 2020 and 2021. Caden, a big lead at first once again. Not going. Way outside, ball 4, and the Wildcats have the potential go-ahead run in scoring position, and the batter will be Camden Welch as Caden moves down to second. Mikey is at first, and man, I wouldn't I wouldn't take this guy out. This guy's pitched incredibly well, but they're still having a little equipment issue, maybe eye issue. I can't really tell what's going on with him. Whatever it is, their conversation between the Gibbs head coach. He and Coach Free seem to be good friends. I noticed them on Saturday in the scrimmage, just talking and talking. And before this game, I tried to get the lineup for about 35 minutes from Coach Free. I didn't want to interrupt their conversation. All they did was talk. Finally got it, and so they seem to be good friends. And obviously Gibbs has a great baseball program with a couple state championships up on their scoreboard over there. Camden Welch with a big opportunity here. He was the starting pitcher. He's not the pitcher of record once the Wildcats tied the ball game, but he can make his new teammate Peyton Witter a winner if he can drive in a run here, or two or three, if the Wildcats can hold in the bottom of the seventh inning. Let's see what Cam's done today. Let's see. He lined out to center field hard. I mentioned it was 93 miles per hour off the bat in the first inning, but it wasn't out. He grounded out to second in the fourth inning and struck out in the fifth. It's lefty versus lefty here. Caden Black, the potential go-ahead run at second base. The pitch to Camden is a called strike. Sweeping breaking pitch. Camden, I don't think he could have hit that. That ball just swept outside. It's just really, really nice pitch. It's tough for a lefty here. Sophomore steps back in. Black takes his lead off of second, and he fakes the throw back there. A nice throw in the center field, if you're a Wildcat fan, would be nice for us.
Be another score off an error. We haven't been a stranger to that this game.
No, it's been, like I said, it's been a weird way all the runs have scored in this game. Pitch to the plate. In there for a called strike. Man, he is really breaking them off nicely. And Cam, I don't know, the first pitch I don't think he could have reached, but that one was a little bit more inside, and he takes strike two. Like I said, he struck out his last plate appearance against this guy. Big point, big play right here. Big pitch. The pitch, runner's going. That's a strikeout. He's going to have to throw him out, and he does, and that is out number 3. So the Wildcats pick up a couple base runners, and they leave them stranded. Gibbs goes to the bottom of the 7th inning in a 2-2 ball game. 1 run will do it. We'll be back to Gibbs in a moment. Welcome back once again to Gibbs High School. David Clary, TJ Hibben, the Wildcats in a 2-2 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. I don't remember many extra inning games a year ago. Maybe there were. I've slept a lot since then. But Mike Kelly watching us. Coach Kelly watching our broadcast tonight. TJ?
Oh, yeah, I love the dude. He's a great guy.
Here we go once again. Peyton still pitching. Peyton Witter. And let's see, he'll be facing the number 19, and in the lineup, it's the number 9 hitter in their lineup. I don't have my roster out to see if it's the same guy. I didn't think so. It looked different. The other guy struck out a couple times, and that pitch is a ball. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. I have it on my phone. And let's see what I can get it going here before he hopefully gets out. That pitch is a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Looking at their roster. Can't find it yet. Peyton's behind in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch. He has called that all night. He has called that pitch all night until right there. He has called that inside pitch all night. 3 balls and 1 strike the count. And the pitch to the plate. There's a called strike on the outside half of the plate. And the count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Who is number 19 on their roster? 3 balls, 2 strikes. Peyton Witter comes to the plate. Called strike 3. Go sit down. That is out number 1 here in the 7th inning. Unnamed. Doesn't have number 9. How about down there?
Logan Me.
Well, Logan is out. And we go back to the top of the order. And the top of the order is that was strikeout number, looks like number 2 in a row for Peyton Witter. And back to the top of the order we go to Mason Melton, and he hits the ball down the third base line. He called it foul, just off the bag at third. Kind of hard to see as that bag is dirty, and so is just about every other player out there. All the Wildcat, their gray jerseys pretty much soiled. Let's see, who's got the cleanest jersey? Looks like Cam and Noah Wood have the cleanest jerseys. The guys in the outfield are all covered in mud. Peyton's covered in mud. Caden Black, Mikey Teasley. So the guys on the right side of the infield, they haven't gotten their jerseys dirty at all. They've played well. I don't think Noah's had any opportunities, but Cam pitched really well in the first part of the ball game. Parker Freese, the catcher. Camden Welch is the first baseman. Noah Wood at second. Caden Black at short. Mikey Teasley. Izzy Mitchell is out in left. Wildcats have Warren East in center and Richie Ferreira. Pitcher is Peyton Witter. He's ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man. Pitch is outside the ball. How fast was that one? On the 71 miles per hour. Witter steps back in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch. Hit foul. Out of play over the top of us. And out of play. And the count remains at 1-2. 1 out. We're in the 7th inning. Wildcats tied it up after trailing 2-0. Wildcats got a solo run in the 5th, a single run in the 6th. All the runs scored by the Gibbs Eagles came back in the 3rd inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside corner. Like I said, in the first part of the ball game, he called all those strikes. Strike zone has gotten a little narrower here in the 7th inning after a little rain. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. That's high and outside. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Appreciate all of you watching our broadcast wherever you might be. I know we've got a couple in New York. Got others watching all around the country. We appreciate all of you all. You can write us a message on the message board to tell us where you might be watching. I know we have 2 in New York watching, including the Assistant Athletic Director, Alan Etheridge. He's up in New York City. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, the pitch. Hit in the air, foul territory, down the line, right side, long road. Richie, he makes the catch. Richie Ferreira came all the way. Nice play by Richie. Caught it, I believe, just in foul territory for out number 2. Richie had to come a long way, and the track is wet. I mean, the grass is obviously wet, and that is a big play by Richie out in right field. And that's out number 2. And the batter now will be Hayden Mills. Mills has reached base 3 different times in this ball game. He's walked, he is doubled, or actually he's walked, reached on an error. Actually, he's walked 3 times. Pitched to him as a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Can't read my own writing. Really nice play there by Richie Ferreira.
Yeah, he sprinted all the way for that ball. I'm kind of surprised he reeled it in, to be honest with you.
I thought it was going to drop, but Richie fooled us all. Big play for him. 1-0 pitch, ball 2. That's high. 2 balls and no strikes. Peyton has done a really good job. The Wildcat pitchers, no earned runs to this point, to this Gibbs team. 2 balls, no strikes. Can't give up a base runner here. There's a swinging strike. And how fast was that one? 75 mile per hour. Pitch by Peyton Witter. Played last year at Kingston. 2-1 pitch. Here it comes. Cut on a missed. Another nice pitch. Evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We could have free baseball here, TJ. I know you're excited about it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We didn't pay anyway, so, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one's way outside. Might have overthrown that one, trying to get that third out. 2-2 our score. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Of course, in high school, you play 7 innings. Wildcats will have middle part of their order up in the 8th inning if we get that far. 2-2 pitch. Cut on and foul back to the screen.
Kind of wishing baseball had a pick 6 right now.
Pick 6, well, unfortunately what could happen for the bad guys would be a walk-off home run, but we don't want that, Mr. TJ.
Well, no, I'm saying pick 6 is in how some way we could get points as we're in the field.
Oh, I got it. I understand. Yep, doesn't happen that way in baseball. Here's the pitch. Cut on a miss. That's a strikeout. That's 3 up and 3 down here in the 7th inning. We go to extra innings. We go to the 8th inning. 2-2 our score. We'll be back to Gibbs in a moment. Well, here's how this game is going to end, TJ. It looks like the 2 teams have elected to end it. I guess the field conditions have gotten to the point where they cannot play on. We will not have free baseball. So I would assume either this game is suspended or this game is going to end in a tie. I'll wait to speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. But I was kind of writing it out here to say, hey, we got free baseball. We've got this. Peyton did this. And I look up, and the 2 teams are shaking hands down in front of us. I guess I don't know if it's suspended or we're just going to say it's a tie.
I'm not really sure, but it was a close game all game. It got dragged out a little bit, but I was still entertained.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till Coach Travis Free comes up to talk to me to find out the ruling. Sorry, TJ. At least we don't have as much stuff in baseball to carry as we do in basketball.
Oh yeah, it's awful in basketball. It's like if we had two people, it'd be probably two trips.
Ashley Branson listening to our broadcast today. I was when I've been telling people that, yeah, I know. Coach James Branson also just said it's kind of lame that we have a tie. Maybe it's just suspended. Hopefully, Coach will come up here and talk to us, and we'll find out exactly if they want to, pick up the game at some point. But the first ball game, it is raining, but the field conditions, honestly, and it has rained a lot in the last few days, but the field conditions don't look terrible, to be honest with you. I guess maybe a safety factor, maybe I don't know. Maybe in Gibbs they turn the street lights off at a certain time of night. I don't know. For whatever reason, we'll ask Coach Free when he comes up. Why don't you get some visual shots here while we try to. There's Coach Free out there talking to their coaching staff, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him in a moment. I'm gonna put the mic down. I've done a lot of talking. 2-2 is our score, and if that's the final score, it's an interesting way. It's like, as they always used to say, like kissing your sister. Do you have a sister, TJ?
I have like a half sister. It's a complicated sister thing.
Well, kissing your sister is basically what they say a tie's like. So, I mean, go home and kiss her and when you go home.
No.
Just kidding. 2-2 is our score as the Wildcats and Gibbs. I'll kind of run through some of the scoring here. Gibbs scored 200 runs. The Wildcats had a couple little pop-ups in the infield, actually, that probably should have resulted in outs, and they were able to score 2 unearned runs back in the third inning. And that was the only thing that either Camden Welch and Peyton Witter allowed. I mean, they were just fantastic on the mound today, with the exception of, both of them are the ones who made the errors. I mean, Camden dropped one, and so did Peyton, and they came in. Both of them pitched great. I mean, it's tough that if they make those plays, who knows? Anything can happen in baseball. But the Wildcats scored their runs. A bases loaded walk. Izzy came in and scored the first one, and then he scored the tying run late in the ball game on a rundown play. Tri Sharp got caught in between, got nearly picked off, but he did stay alive long enough to get Izzy home, and the Wildcats tied the ball game, or we might be looking at a 2-1 loss here to the Gibbs Eagles. So Izzy scores both runs of the night, and pitching was great. Defense not as good, but field conditions I guess have warranted the ending of the game in a tie. Hopefully I'll speak to the coach in a minute. Hopefully he won't stand out there too long. He has a tendency, especially on the first game, to talk a little bit. I know he's talking about defense. That's one thing he's going to talk about. But the pitching was good, and for the most part, the Wildcats, with the exception of that one little mistakes there, played pretty well. So I'm going to put the mic down here, and hopefully we'll speak to Coach Travis Free here in a bit. Wildcats in a 2-2 ball game, whether it be a tie or a suspended ball game, I don't know. 2-2 the score. We'll be back hopefully with Coach Free in a moment. Coach Travis Free is about to join us here. He's coming up from the dugout area. Get a chance to talk to him. And I don't like doing on-camera interviews, but I guess we can do that here. Let's do it this way, TJ. We'll get. No, just kind of point it in my direction when he gets up here. Nobody wants to see my ugly face till Coach Free gets up here, but get the final interview done here. Coach, if you want to come over here next to me. Travis Free, the head coach of the Wildcats, has joined us here. Coach, first game of the year, kind of an interesting night. A couple things come to mind. Well, I'm going to first ask you, is it a tie or is it a suspended game?
Tie, I guess. But would it be the umpire called it there at the end just because, I mean, you look at it and you get close to it, man, it's standing water everywhere. So somebody's going to get hurt. It's too early in the year to be making that decision. So he made the decision just to end it there. So
you don't want to come back up here and finish it?
No, not suspended game, no.
So you start the game, season 0-1. A couple things come to mind. I thought, honestly, your pitching was fantastic tonight. I think both Camden Welch and Peyton Witter both pitched well. Defense by those two guys actually kind of let you down a little bit, which is unusual. I mean, 200 runs, 2 drop pop-ups. You know, it's first game of the year. Things happen, and it's raining and such. But for the most part, you grinded it out. I mean, you had the 2 runs that you scored were weird in themselves, a bases loaded walk, and then Trice gets caught in a rundown, and they either think there's 2 outs, and Izzy comes and scores, and he scores both runs to tie it there late in the game. So, or you could have been heading home with a 2-1 loss.
That's right. It was a weird game. I mean, just think about it. Like Peyton dropped 1, Cheeto dropped 1, but then they probably struck out 5 or 6 each. And then
7 for Cam.
7 for Cam. I mean, unhittable. I mean, I think we gave up 3 hits maybe, same thing. And then the same thing on our offense. That was a called play with Trice, and that was a called play for us to run 1. It was not ran quite right, but it worked out in our favor that we were trying to execute a first and third position there. So it worked out. We tried to do some things. But like I told our team, 1, we got down 2-0 with 2 unearned runs. We didn't quit. We fought back, and we didn't give it away. And then at the same time, what I love about it all together is just we stuck together. We didn't let that momentum. We didn't go up or down. We just kind of kept coming back. And I think that, I don't know, it was a good start. And we faced 2 of the best pitchers that we've seen in a while. All preseason, we haven't been faced with anybody that throws the ball with the velocity that lefty was throwing. That righty was throwing some pitches that we don't see on a day-to-day basis. Throwing a good cutter on a righty, was having a tough time with that. But we just haven't been pushed in the preseason. Like, I've got to do a better job moving forward next year is to make sure that we have somebody that pushes us a little bit in the preseason. We didn't have that. Today we got it. Is exactly what we needed before we head to the beach.
We'll talk about that. I know you're going to go down to, I guess, Gulf Shores and Alabama and play in a tournament down there. I know your guys are excited for baseball, for one, and just to, get away from this kind of weather here, although, just kind of rainy. But talk about that trip, and I'll let you go because I know it's a long ride home.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go down there. We play a doubleheader on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We play 1 each. We get to play at different high schools each day. It's kind of a pool play, as you would say. Like, you've kind of got to come out on top of your pool. If you do, you make it to what's a Final Four, which would be at Gulf Shores High School there, and you get to play on Thursday, and they'll play a Final Four and a Finals all on Thursday. So you won't play baseball past Thursday. It's a great opportunity for our kids to go out as a group. It's great for us to be together. It's kind of, I always, when I was at Dobbins Bennett and we always coached, every year we went to a beach destination and played. Every single year I felt it brought our team a little closer together. So my goal is hopefully we get a little closer together. We enjoy the company together, but we also are going to play some really good baseball teams. I know that there's at least 3 of the 4 are top-notch programs, so we'll see how it goes, man. I look forward to it. It's going to be fun.
2-2, the final score here. Just your final comments about tonight's game.
Our pitching was great, just like I thought it was going to be. That's really going to be our strength. Honestly, our strength is going to be pitching, and our defense is really – typically those are fluke plays tonight. Typically we're going to do a really good job.
Coach, have fun at the beach.
I can't wait.
Coach Travis Free, head coach of the Wildcats. 2-2, the final score. That about does it here. I know TJ's ready to go. 2-2 is the final score. The Wildcats and the Gibbs High Eagles tie. This is our first broadcast. The Wildcats wasn't a win, but wasn't a loss either. Until the next time, this is David Clary saying so long, everybody. Stop the stream if you will.